Yeah, so the technical session we have a deep lecture and talk. So the first planning lecture, Professor David Basavia, presently he is IOE Researcher Professor, Institute of Eminence, Researcher Professor at University of Hyderabad. So I will give brief introduction about the speaker. So Professor did his MSc from Gujarat Hindu University and then he has from Gujarat University one of the greatest organizations working. Then he went for postdoc, he did his postdoc with now Professor H.C. Brown, and he was there for almost 3 years. And since then he is working at the University of Hyderabad and he supervisors and he got this professor. So, sir has been recently awarded CRSI system achieved award that is going on this year itself. He has been appointed global professor at chemistry department of University. He has also been awarded by BHO Distinguished Elements Award in 2012. Sir is fellow of National Academy of Science. So, Indian Academy of Science. Basically, he is a very chemist and he has contributed reaction and the reaction called Bhattavia reaction. So, I will be a very chemist. The recruited me because this conference is environmental based and there are participants from different disciplines. So we requested him that sir, please, because that most of young participants are there. So we invite them. So basically, he will not be talking on chemistry. Basically, he will be speaking on philosophy of ultimate success in scientific life. So with this, I request sir. So can you give me the talk? Thank you, sir. Not yet, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is it clear?
Yes, clear.
From your side is not clear to me from your side.
What, sir?
From your side, I am not able to hear you properly. From your side, I am not able to hear you properly. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
प्रैक्टिस की आवाज चेक करना है जा रही तो उधर
Now it is better.
It's okay.
Mic is better.
Yes, sir. I think I can hear you properly. So I think audio from their end is problem, sir. I can hear you properly, sir. I think you can go ahead, sir.
Such fault, don't disconnect mic. It is better from your side.
Yeah, sir, you are trying to listen properly.
Screen. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Prakash Sharma and Dr. Satpal Singh for inviting me to this symposium to present about some of points of research in science. Science. Can you see the screen now?
Oh, no. You see it first. You are not able to see your screen.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, perfect now. You can continue.
Perfect? Okay.
Yes.
Slide show. Slide show to do. Can you see full screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can say. Yes, sir.
Now I can hear properly. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Prakash Sharma and Dr. Satpal Singh for inviting me to the symposium. Today, I am going to speak to you a philosophy of ultimate success in scientific life. Before I go to my lecture, I would like to speak something about philosophy of thinking. In our life, the way of thinking is very important. The way we think will decide our actually future maximum extent. Way of our thinking is the only key for success or failure in our life. For example, we have an object here 9. How people think? One can think it is 10 minus 1. Somebody may think 3 into 2. Somebody may think 3 square. Somebody may think it is 7 plus 2. Somebody it is a lucky number. Therefore, object is 1. There are several perspectives to think about this. If object is 1, so many ways of thinking. Perspectives are many. Put some other example. It's an object. You ask any person who knows mathematics, he will say without any it is a rhombus. If you ask a chemistry student, he will say it is a cyclobutane. If you ask a man who doesn't know chemistry or mathematics, he will say it is a diamond ornament. Or if you ask somebody who knows chords well, playing chords, he says a diamond in bridge. You see this in different way. See the object. This is the way mathematics students will think at the rhombus. This is the way chemistry student will feel it is a cyclobutane. A common man think it is nothing but 4-line boundary. It is 4 lines. Those who play cards and play bridge, he think that it is a diamond. Straights, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. Therefore, object is 1. The way we think really matters. Okay, in life, success will depend hard work, no doubt, but you need honesty in hard work. Therefore, the level of honesty in hard work, the level of honesty in sincerity, the level of honesty in hard work will decide your level of success in your life. This is very, very actually important to learn these things. Honesty in hard work, honesty in sincerity, honesty in dedication. Okay, what we need, man needs roti, kapda or makan. English version, food, health and energy. And science plays a vital role in all these things. Roti, kapda or makan. So there's a movie, 1974, when I was studying at Benares in the university, Roti, Kapda or Makan. In this movie, they actually demonstrate the importance of all these 3, Roti, Kapda or Makan. This is the story of actually Manoj Kumar as a hero, and Amitabh Bachchan as the actual side hero. It's Maushmi Chatterjee, Shashi Kapoor, Ramnath and Jin Tamman. This is a very, very famous movie, which actually demonstrates the importance of roti, kapda, or makan, health, energy, and food. Objective of my lectures are actually in students to increase the confidence levels, or also in teachers, increase the confidence levels. Actually, most of Indian students don't have confidence among themselves, and also increase the ambition levels. Our ambition levels are not that high. Also, increase the spirit of competition. One has to compete in going in life. These are very, very important things. Okay? Confidence levels, ambition levels, and spirit of competition. Actually, most of us lack these things. And finally, it is to influence at least some students to take up science, to discover something and serve the country in a better way. This is actually aim of my lecture. Why need to do science? What science has done to us? Science has improved the quality of life over the years. In case of food, health and energy, and information technology and transport. Also reasoning and understanding. Several years ago, several decades ago, when a child gets a chicken pox, people think goddess is angry. Therefore, they have to kill the child. But goddess has nothing to do with the disease. It's a disease. Chicken pox is a disease. It has to be cured. That science has taught us. Therefore, it helps us in solving physics science. Also, it helps in food. fertilizers, storage facilities, and quality and quantity of the food. This is all because of science. Science has showed how to store the food, how to improve the quality of the food, and also quantity of the food also. Health, clothes, good clothes in winters, also in summer, medicines for survival more time, environmental care and protection, and also cleanliness. It's all actually science played a key role, continues to play a key role. In transport, several years ago, you have only bicycles. Now you have cars, ship, train, and aeroplane. It's all because of scientific developments. Industrialization. Science has given electricity and technology. It's all information and communication. When I was a child, there was radio was the only source of information. There was no phone in those 60 years ago, no TV, no internet. These all came because of scientific developments, radio, no outdated almost, phone, TV, internet. I told you already, science has taught us reasoning and understanding and wisdom and knowledge. That is why science played an important role in improving our cultural and civilization aspects. I told you already example about prejudice. A child gets a chicken pox, goddess is angry. That is a prejudice. There is no scientific reason. Therefore, science is very important in solving social problems. I tell you, science and success, they're very, very important. Success always follows failures. Success in science is not neither immediate nor certain. We cannot guarantee success in science. Okay? Attempts are very important. Success in science sometimes makes several years, and sometimes one has to spend entire life to understand the things what is happening. Okay. I tell you, important things to go up in life, success in life. One need ambition. For that, also you need willpower and determination, dedication and total commitment, continuous hard work, not one day hard work. I'll tell you some examples with this. Continuous patience one needs, of sincerity and understanding, self-confidence. Okay. Furthermore, self-discipline, mental balance. I tell you the examples of scientists. Continuous reading and learning, competing spirit, optimism, self-control. Above all, vision should be there what we want to be. And also sometimes some luck also plays a role in life. Serendipity or luck plays a role in life. Let me tell you what ambition. Ambition is not getting a medical seat or going to US for a job. It's a desire. Ambition is not a desire. It is something to achieve something great which is useful to country and society. That is ambition. Ambition is to achieve something great which is useful to society and country. That is ambition. Hard work. Several students think working few days for examination or just attending some classes or all the classes is hard work. It's not correct. Working few days before the examination, attending all the classes or attending a few classes is hard work. It is not at all true. Hard work is lifelong. As long as health permits, you should be working hard. That is hard work means. Similarly, several PhD students, they think that hard work is only before writing thesis or before sending a paper. Several things that way only, but it's not correct. Hard work is not for writing a thesis or sending a paper. Hard work is lifelong. Same thing as sincerity also. Sincerity is not for attending classes, not for writing examination. It's for lifelong. Therefore, you need this called continuous hard work. One also need patience. Patience is very, very important point of life. Don't have patience, several things will miss in life. Patience is actually not for one day. One has to be patient throughout your life until you get success. It's very important thing. Without patience, success will not come. It is very important. One needs to wait. One needs to wait to get success for a long time. Therefore, patience is very, very necessary. Therefore, I can say success is the best friend of patience. They go together. I always ask my students, who is your best friend? Best friend is not your friend. Actually, best friend is hard work. Wherever you go, it will come with you. Friends cannot come. This will come. Wherever you go, it comes with you. If you go to US, it will come with you. If you go to England, it will come with you. Friends will not come. So your qualification is sincerity. Wherever you go, it comes with you. Sincerity there, you are best qualified person. And asset is patience. These are important things one to learn. I give you examples. I have selected 4 public figures, ambition levels. I selected first Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He's a very ambitious person. Okay? His ambition is to make India from British. He did it with his non-violence movement. Very simple person. This is the ambition levels. Ambition is to make a country free from British. This is the level of ambition of Mahatma Gandhi. Next, I took the example of Abraham Lincoln, famous American president, okay, who came from bottom to president stage. Okay. His parents are uneducated parents. He has. He was also assassinated because he was supporting blacks, the principle of blacks. Lincoln also actually became president of US when it is political, moral, and also problem in US. He was somewhat successful in abolishing slavery and also strengthening federal structure of US. However, unfortunately, he was assassinated because he was supporting abolishing slavery from blacks. Other example I have taken is Napoleon, very famous French emperor. He came from the soldier level. This is soldier Napoleon. This is actually commander Napoleon. This is emperor Napoleon. You can see. He always says that ambition is never content, even on the summit of greatness. Always ambition increases. Yeah. Always ambition. I told you, Mahatma Gandhi, very ambitious. Okay. Napoleon, very ambitious. Abraham Lincoln is ambitious. I do other example for serving the people. Mother Teresa, a great humanitarian person. He's not Indian. She came from Yugoslavia to serve Indians. Okay. Always used to say, do not wait for leaders, do it alone, person to person. I have taken 4 public figures. Now I will go to scientists. Scientist Sir Isaac Newton. He came on his own. When he was a child, England was in drought. His father died. He has to go place to place to survive even. From that level, okay, he became very, very famous physicist as a mathematician. People feel, okay, he is one of the most famous mathematicians as a physicist as ever produced. He was actually he discovered calculus, laws of motion, laws of universal gravitation, optics, physics side, also mathematics side, calculus. You can see. He also, people say, a symbol of willpower and dedication. He also became FRS. In those days, there was no Nobel Prize. Otherwise, you would have got several Nobel Prizes. He came on his own by his ambition level hard work. The symbol of actually ambition and hard work. Yes, I took the example of railway engine. Who discovered railways? Railways was discovered by 3 great people: Thomas Savery, and Thomas Newcomb, and James Watt. These 3 hard works of these great people, railways have come to existence. Okay. The first railway, okay, he discovered, James Watt. Actually, after they discovered railway engine, then railway track was developed by George Stephenson. Therefore, they call him father of railways. He built the first railway track between Liverpool and Manchester. Because of these 4 great people, they have tried to travel. This is all their hard work. They didn't enjoy the railway traveling, but we are enjoying the railway traveling because of the hard work of these 3 great people and also the intelligence of the father, George Stephenson. Next, I will go to air travel. You have aeroplane because of 2 great people, Wright brothers, Wilbur Wright and Oliver Wright. These are 2 great people who discovered aeroplane in their cycle shed. This is the cycle shed where they discovered first aeroplane. Okay. They built. Okay. When they were child, I put at the age of 12 by Wilbur Wright, at the age of 8 by Orville Wright, They saw birds flying. They put a question to themselves, why we can't fly? Therefore, the desire at the age of 12 and 8, they worked hard and discovered the aeroplane due to their own invention, due to their own imagination and innovation. They discovered, right, after 25 years, they built the first flight in their cycle shop. They have a cycle shop, repair cycles and also do minor repairs. They built in Dayton. This is the first flight they built. It went only, maybe 200, 200, 300, 400 yards. Idea is important. Later on, the idea was taken by Sir George Kelvin. He made the real improvement in airlines. Therefore, he is called as father of aeronautics. They invented. Initial inventions are done by these two great people. Then it was developed by Sir George Kelvin. Very, very important. They never traveled. All these three people never traveled. They discovered for us, and we are enjoying the air travel. Next, I will go to great physicist and chemist Michael Faraday. We came on his own throughout his life. He was not that educated. He was only minimum education. He used to work as a bookseller, near the book as a book binder. He used to read all the books in science available at that time. He used to attend all the lectures given by great people in nearby towns. When he was there at the age of 14, Hubert Humphrey, who discovered 12 elements in periodic table, came to give a lecture. After lecture, Michael Faraday went to Humphrey Davy and asked, I would like to work with you. Then Davy asked him, what is the guarantee you are a good student? Then to prove he's a good student, he took the notes is what he made, listening to all lectures earlier, as almost like a bundle of papers. He showed to Humphrey Davy. Davy was very happy. You are a very hardworking person, dedicated person. Therefore, he took him under his apprentice. He has 300-page book he showed as notes. Then afterwards, after joining Davy, he became very more famous than even Davies. Michael Faraday became more famous than Davies. He because of his efforts, electricity was available. Electricity we got. Actually, in chemistry point of view, he has discovered benzene. The person who discovered benzene. Also, he discovered magnetic field. He discovered so many things in physics and chemistry. Therefore, he was the very youngest person to be elected as the Royal Society in 1824. Very, very prestigious honor at that time. Also, he refused 2 times to be invited to become the president of Royal Society. He refused. That is actually greatness of Michael Faraday. He came on his own. He studied on his own. He has no actually thing. This is actually we need willpower, ambition to discover something. Next, I will go to the example of Thomas Alva Edison. When the electricity is available because of Michael Faraday, how to use it in life. That is Thomas Alva Edison. Actually, when he was a child, he has hearing problems. Then he always thinks that it is good for him. He doesn't have to hear what others talk. That always he believed that the loss helped him in avoiding distractions in life. And whatever bad he has or whatever weakness he has, he made it asset to go up in life. That's what I am. Thomas Alva Edison is. He used electricity and discovered this bulb, light bulb. Also, he has discovered kinetoscope, which is actually used for screening movies and all those things, projections. He has actually world record of patients, almost 1,100 patients he has. And also, he is the first person who created the industrial research laboratory. He also generated electrical power generation. All he actually regarded America's greatest inventor. That is actually Thomas Alva Edison is. Because all his hard work, then they have no proper education at that time. Next, I take the example of Alfred Nobel, because of whom we have Nobel Prize. he actually discovered dynamite, that is nitroglycerin, which is explosive. Now people used to make, to break the hills and mountains because of this nitroglycerin, dynamite. He earned a lot of money. Okay? Lot of money earned because of the dynamite. And all the money what he earned, actually 31 million Swedish kronor. He donated to a trust. Asking them to give the prize who discovered in science, physics, chemistry, medicine, and also economics. They are the prizes he first proposed. Later on, his prize also came. This is because of him. All his money what he earned because of a discovery of dynamite. He made a committee and asked them to give prize who discover useful things for humankind. Next, I will tell about Alfred Einstein. He a physicist. He won the Nobel Prize in 1921. At the age of time, actually, Einstein had a lot of problems when he was a child. Okay. At the age of 12, he discovered Pythagoras theorem in mathematics. Okay. He had a lot of problems. He didn't get the job. He had no job for 2 years. And he also spent time searching for a job and also almost frustrated. From that time onwards, when he gets some job, then he showed his talent, Brownian motion, E MC square bar, all because of Einstein discovery. Okay. The Einstein intelligence came, he discovered Pythagoras theorem at the age of 12. So even though he did not get job, he did not lose what? The optimism he came up and became one of the greatest critical physicists. I take example of Madame Curie, the famous physicist and chemist from Poland. When she was a child, Poland was under the Russian rules. Russian kings called Tsars. There was a rule in Russia at that time. Female children cannot go to school. Okay, very unfortunate rule at that time Russian government has. But she ran away from Poland to France for study purpose. See what courage she has. And when she was a child, she ran away from Poland to France for study. From that stage onwards, the willpower and also determination made him discover polonium and radium. She got Nobel Prize with husband, Pierre Curie, and also Becquerel. 3 people got the first Nobel Prize in physics in polonium. Later on, she got alone herself second Nobel Prize actually for radium and polonium, for chemistry. She knows that at that time she knew there are radioactive elements, radium and polonium. They will harm. They harm her. Even then, she continued her work. Okay. And actually died because of cancer because of the radioactive elements. The radioactive element, actually curium, is named after her and her husband. One element discovered, made on their name. Okay. Because she is that much willpower she has. Even though she knew she will die because of this radioactive elements, she continued to work, discover their properties, applications, and finally actually got cancer and died because of the radioactive. That is the level of willpower she has. Supervisor also got Nobel Prize, but before supervisor, she got the Nobel Prize. Gabriel Lippmann, our supervisor, before him, she got the Nobel Prize. That is actually a level of hard work and intelligence shown by willpower. As I will go to Indian great person, Sir C.V. Raman, won the Nobel Prize in physics. Okay, for discovering Raman effect, Raman scattering spectroscopy. He didn't have PhD. He's only MA. He didn't have PhD. He discovered all by his own imagination and willpower and reading journals. See, actually, greatness came when he was 18 years old. Published a paper. Title of the paper is Unsymmetrical Diffraction Bands Due to Rectangular Aperture. Very published in British journal. When he was a student, MA student in actually Madras University. Okay, from that level onwards, okay, he didn't have PhD. He has no PhD guide. Discovered all by your own effort, by reading and intelligence, by willpower and dedication. Discovered Raman effect and won the Nobel Prize in 1930. And also became a fellow of Royal Society in 1924. In 1954, the government of India actually gave him first Bharat Ratna, along with Rajgopalachari and others. Very, very actually dedicated and willpower scientist. That's Brahman. Next, I will use the example of mathematician, greatest mathematician, Carl Friedrich Gauss, Gaussian theory. People call him the foremost mathematics person. So mathematicarum. This is actually Latin word that means foremost of mathematics. That means best mathematician ever here produced. That's what they mean. Yeah. He is the person who discovered mathematics, great mathematician, by hard work only. There's nothing, he all discovered by his own, on his own. Next, I give the example Indian scientist, Ramanujan. He is very famous mathematician, but at very young age, you can see, only around 34, 35 years. Yeah. He also has no formal college education. He led all by his own. He has no formal training in mathematics. Even then, by his imagination, by willpower, and by intuition, he made several mathematical rules, analysis, number theory, infinite series, and continued fractions. Ramanujan's conjecture, Ramanujan prime, these are very important known for him. Ramanujan has become very youngest fellow of Royal Society, FRS, 1918. You can see almost in actually around less than 30 years, he became fellow of Royal Society. That is the actually greatness and intelligence level of Ramanujan. Actually, India is proud having him as a Indian. Very great son of India. Next, I take the example of Louis Pasteur. I will go to the biology side now. Louis Pasteur is also a great chemist. He is the person who discovered the concept of asymmetry, demonstrated. He is the first person isolating the tartaric acid, sodium salt by naked eye, both enantiomers. That is the actual level of his optical isomerism. He discovered actually both asymmetry, chemistry, also microorganisms cause fermentation and disease that are discovered by him. Discovered vaccination for anthrax and rabies. He also saved the French industry, beer industry, saved the beer wine industry in France. He says that always infectious disease could be prevented by prophylactic vaccination. He is the first person who advocated vaccines are very, very necessary, essential to prevent the diseases of these things. Because of his idea of vaccination only, we have so many vaccinations against recently also against corona. Because of his actually foresight, Louis Pasteur. In 1887, he established Pasteur Institute and served as director for lifelong. I tell you some of the important quotes of Louis Pasteur. This is the quotes of Louis Pasteur. You can see. I like these things. Science knows no country because of knowledge belongs to humanity. It's a torch which illuminates the world. That is what is very, very important quotation by him. Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to everybody. And it is a torch which illuminates the world. Also, he says science is the highest personification of the nation because that nation will remain the first which carries the foremost works of thought and intelligence. He also tells secret and that led to the goal. He says, do not let yourself be traded with the large bargain of skepticism. This is what he says. Fortune favors the prepared mind. You do whatever you want to do. Some people may criticize you, but you continue to do whatever you want to do. And luck also favors the prepared mind. That is what Louis Pasteur says. He is actually one of the greatest scientists, microbiologists. Very great person. I'll go to now Watson and Crick, who got Nobel Prize for the discovery of DNA. In those days, there was a race to understand what is in DNA. That race, there are so many people competed. Finally, Watson and Crick, they won the along with This person, I tell you, who got the Nobel Prize? Crick, Watson, and Wilkinson. They won the Nobel Prize. Actually, she did equally good contribution. French lady, Rosalind Franklin. Unfortunately, she died because of cancer. Therefore, she could not get the Nobel Prize. But because of her death, young person got the Nobel Prize. Watson at the age of 31. Watson, student of Crick, got the Nobel Prize. Therefore, they really did a lot of work to understand the structure of DNA, how it works, okay, how it is constituted. That's to solve a lot of problems. DNA structure helped us in solve a lot of problems, genetic problems. This is the great work of these three great people. Crick, Watson, Wilkinson, and also Rosalind Franklin. They won the Nobel Prize in 1962 for medicine because of DNA structure. She missed Nobel Prize because she died. Normally, Nobel Prize was not given to till there was no way to give Nobel Prize to dead people. That was will of Alfred Nobel. Otherwise, she would have got the Nobel Prize, but not Watson. Next, I will go to fertilizers, chemistry side a little bit. Frederick Waller, who discovered actually urea synthesis, urea. Because of his synthesizing urea, we have a lot of food problem is solved. Urea is very essential fertilizer for growth of food. In the end, and he was actually discovered this urea synthesis is the first time. A lot of opposition was there. People did not believe it what he is selling. There was theory of vitalism. That means organic compound could be produced only by living organisms due to life force. That's what people used to believe, but it disproved the theory of vitalism. Therefore, this is actually Berzelius was one of the persons who liked proposed vitalism principle, but he disputed. Finally, they fought several seminars, and finally they became good friends also, Berzelius and Frederick Waller. He also discovered benzoin condensation, a very, very famous reaction in organic chemistry, the first stage punctuation. He is actually Frederick Waller in a young time. When urea is discovered in small quantity, you need a large quantity. How to make it? That is because of Weber, ammonia synthesis. To make urea, ammonia is very, very essential component. Therefore, the urea synthesized by Frederick Waller was made in large quantities by Weber first ammonia. Then ammonia is important component for making urea. Therefore, in all world feel that this is probably the greatest scientific discovery in the history of last century. Pete Weber won the Nobel Prize for synthesizing ammonia, 1918. Because of his synthesizing ammonia in large quantities, urea is available in tons of quantities. That is all because of his greatness. It's Weber. He always believes that science can solve the problems. He always believes. Therefore, he addressed his whole life in how to get urea in large quantities. In that process, he synthesized ammonia in large quantities. Even now, this is the only way they make Weber process. It's called Weber process ammonia. Okay. Next, I will take the Linus Pauling, who is a very important person in chemistry point of view. Because he is the person who discovered chemical bond theory, applications in the understanding structures. The most famous, one of the most famous chemist in the world. He also did some work in extra crystallography. He won the Nobel Prize for his outstanding work or a brilliant work on chemical bond theory. All he learned by own. He actually worked one of hardworking person. He also won one more Nobel Prize for peace. In 1945-46 at the time, America put bomb in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He went and visited those places. He felt that nuclear war is very bad for the world. Therefore, he canvassed throughout the world against the nuclear war. For that purpose, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1963. But American actually always thought that he is a communist person. Therefore, Like that troubled them a lot in US because of his attitude against nuclear war. American government did not like for several years. I go to Alexander Fleming, who is the most famous person in discovering penicillin, antibiotic compound. When he's a medical doctor. In First World War and Second World War, we used to see Americans are suffering, soldiers are suffering because of wounds in the war. There was no cure for wounds. They're suffering a lot, bleeding and all these problems he saw. He wanted to discover some medicine to save them. In that process, he discovered penicillin. He found nasal mucus, lymphatic bacterial growth. This is by his own experience. Therefore, in that process, from that bacterial growth, he found penicillin. That's what actually, because of his penicillin, several antibiotics came. Therefore, our length of life, longevity of life has increased because of Alexander Fleming. But he made the penicillin small quantity. He discovered penicillin, but one has to make in large quantities. That was done by, I tell you, Robert Burns Woodward. He discovered the penicillin antibiotic compound. He showed it is very useful. Okay. Then Robert Burns Woodward made it large quantities. He is the person who taught organic synthesis to the world. Because of him, because of his great work, several antibiotics came, and actually our lifetime also has increased because of him. So he is a very, very famous organic chemist, maybe the best organic chemist has ever produced. Okay. When Woodward was BSc, he was not studying properly. He was only doing how to synthesize chlorophyll. He is the person who synthesized chlorophyll. Yeah, but he was actually removed from MIT because he failed. The MIT, once he was removed, they never take back as a student. But if teachers knew his greatness, and requested the president of the MIT to take him back. After several requests, the president relented and took him back. Then Woodward completed his BSc in 1 year. All the courses clearing and stood first in the class. In 1 year, there was no rule in America. You can complete his BSc in 1 year. All right, all exams. Get ranking, then you will get degree. All courses he did in 1 year and stood first in the class. That is the level of hard work he used to do. Later in 1 year, he completed PhD. Supervisor, unknown person, you can see. Supervisor is actually two, Naris and Norton. Nobody knows them. Whatever experiments they have given to him, he did in 1 year. He used to work 18 hours a day. Extremely hardworking person, 18 hours a day. See, he did BSc in 1 year and did first in the class and got distinction. And also he did PhD in 1 year. All the experiments were given by supervisors he completed. That is the level of hard work. That kind of very, very rare piece of hard work. Because of his things, we have these antibiotics. So many medicines, erythromycin, aureomycin, all because of his synthetic abilities. That is the greatness of R.B. Woodward, because of whom medicinal chemistry has actually prospered. Industries came because of his hard work. How much I have, Satpal? Satpal? Hello? Hello? How much I can speak more, Satpal? Next, I'll go to Herbert C. Brown, my supervisor or postdoc supervisor. He is also actually a very great person. He won the Nobel Prize in 1979 because of his work in hydroboration and organoborans. When he was killed, his father expired and he has to discontinue his studies. He has to feed his mother and sister. He discontinued. He earned some money working in the copper in shoe shop, repairing shoes, and also actually cleaning shoes. Then he earned some money. Then he came back to studies. From that level onwards, he came only because of hard work and optimism. Okay, he was actually a very hardworking person. Confidence he has in things. From that level, won the Nobel Prize 1979. I think I should think half an hour time will I have. Just go. I'd all go to this because time is not there. I just go to last slides. I told you this is symbol of willpower. Sir Isaac Newton and Michael Faraday, very hardworking, my own self-grown man. And Robert Woodward is a self-confidence person. They are great people. On their own they came. Herbert C. Brown. See, in life, actually, you need mental balance. This is what I want to emphasize on this. When things are normal, we behave properly. When things are difficulty, hello? When you have some problem, then only actually you need mental balance. When you have difficulty, how you behave very important. Hard work actually will never go waste. Reading never goes waste. Learning never goes waste. Okay. Very important thing to learn. Knowledge also never goes waste. Hard work always is useful. Okay. This is best example of hard work is example of this Robert Wright brothers. Their hard work never went waste. Because their hard work, they are enjoying air travel. I think some free in life. Whatever comes free, it also goes fast. Very important thing. Therefore, whatever goes up fast, it falls down much faster than it went up. There are things once actually there are very important things in life. People want to go to very fast things. Yeah, opportunities always won't come. Whenever opportunities come, you should use them. Whatever you get, let us make it better and better. Okay? Whatever job you get, you excel there, you make a name there, and you will get recognition afterwards. You should not complain about the job. That's what actually Herbert C. was the best person. He got a job in the wrong place, in a bad place, but he worked hard there, discovered science, some chain theory and chemistry. From that, he became professor in Purdue University. Therefore, wherever you get, okay, whatever opportunity you get, you will shine there. That's what actually always Brown says. Optimism always helps. Never be pessimistic. Optimism always helps you. Okay. You also try to actually transform waste into asset. You don't have time about because time is short. Just go to last slides. My lecture aim is to increase confidence levels in students, increase ambition level in students, and also increase the spirit of competition among students. To influence some students to take up science as a career, to serve the country better. All over. Yes. This is very important. The difference between good student and the average student. The good student is 10 years ahead of him. An average student. That means a student, good student and 10 average student, 10 year difference is there. Whatever good student thinks now, after 10 years, the average student will think. The difference is there, 10 years gap, 10 years time. Okay. The good student is 10 years ahead of average student. Therefore, one should be careful. Hard work always brings peace, health, success, and also prosperity. Very hard work will never go waste. India will become great nation. We also get Nobel Prizes, provided we work hard. This is important thing. All of us work hard. If you become dollar, you are equal to euro and also pound. This is important thing. Hard work makes difference. Hard work is there. India become, we also get Nobel Prizes. Dollar become 1 rupee. Euro become 1 rupee. Pound become 1 rupee. This actually all depends on this hard work. All our work hard. Who are the most lucky people in the world? I always feel that those who work hard with vision, dedication, honesty, and sincerity They are the lucky people in the world. Work hard, you are a lucky person. Cannot work hard, you are not lucky person. You have only one life. Should not allow it to go waste. Let us work hard, make our country a great nation. Before I close, I thank all my students. Satpal Singh is there, actually one of my PhD students. He is there on the dais now. I also thank DST, CISR for funding my projects. Hyderabad University for giving me a job. These are my first batch of students, the second batch of my student. Satpal should be there. I is missing Satpal. This is my supervisor, Professor Gurbakh Singh. This is my supervisor, S.C. Brown. This is a building named after supervisor Gurbakh Singh because he is first vice chancellor of the university. This is a final message I want to give you to students mostly. The level of success in life, in every walk of life, depends level of honesty and hard work, level of sincerity, level of commitment in proper direction. Finally, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure if time would have been more, you would have been most of the students much better way. Anyway, I'm sure that if us will take the message to learn or to learn and continue and it is possible from that side to make this lesson great. And once again, on behalf of the committee, I thank you for spending your time. Thank you very much, sir. So the next speaker is Dr. Deepak Salinte. So basically, Deepak worked at Princeton University. Dr. Salinte completed the MSc degree from University of Management. In his career, PhD in chemistry from CSR National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. During his PhD, he was awarded with Indo-French Sandwich Scholarship. He also had industrial experience for about 3 years and worked at Advanced Therapeutic as well as Sci Life Sciences, where he experienced a preclinical discovery cycle from starting to conduct phase. He has been postdoc at NCTU, and also he has specific experience in the field of vaccine and during development his University of Kansas, where he was as anti-AID project to discover PNR agnostic. And he told the company he is at Punjab University and he is working toward the development of communication of IV inhibitors as well as PNR agonists to be used as vaccine adjuvant and immunotherapeutics. Dr. Deepak is a recipient of Assistant Research Professorship at HBC University of Kansas. He has also been Ramanga Swami Fellowship by Department of Biotechnology, India. Bhutan Bhabha Fellowship, Trail Ground of NCT, Taiwan. He received a research grant from Vaccine Pty Limited, Flinders University, Australia. Central Ministry of Technology, South Africa, and was also supported by PU Association for his research related to vaccine discovery. Professor has completed 26 research of NHRD and who is the best recipient of NHRD's government in Punjab, Chandigarh. Recently, Dr. Salinte has established a national interdisciplinary center for vaccine, immunotherapeutics, and antimicrobials at the Department of Chemistry, Punjab University, Chandigarh. He has got 67 publications in international journal having high repute, 3 patents, and so far he has completed almost 6-7 projects sponsored by various sponsored agencies of this country. Basically, he's trying to develop vaccines there. So we just requested that please just throw some light how the things how organic can contribute in the how it is relevant or how it is important to organic in the development of vaccine. So basically, He will be talking about the synthetic organic chemistry in the development of new vaccine and we use by Dr. Sasanke.
Co-host Nadia can.
Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Satpal. Am I audible?
You can proceed.
Are the screen visible now? Slides are visible?
Yes, yes. You want to put a slide model. Good.
All good?
Yeah, so we can increase drugs in this.
Your audio is not clear. Is it all clear? Am I audible? Again, sorry, I am unable to hear you, Satpal.
आवाज नहीं जा रही क्या इसकी?
Now it is clear. Now it is clear.
So anyway, I am just requesting that please try to summarize within 15 minutes. Okay?
Yes.
You can proceed. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Satpal. I think with due respect to Professor Basavaya, and he's really an inspiration to all the chemists in India. And then good afternoon to Professor Khan. I'm thankful to Dr. Sharma, Dr. Barkharani, and Dr. Satpal for providing me this opportunity to interact with the students on this very interesting platform. So I think Basavaya sir has already given you given all of us such an interesting talk about what is the importance of hard work. So my supervisor always used to say, he passed away, but then he always used to say one word, that hard work. Deepak, you do hard work and no one can stop you. So Basavaya sir, I would like to tell you that my MSc teacher, Dr. Vijay Khanna, is also a student of Professor S.C. Brown, and you are also a student of Professor S.C. Brown. So I am very happy to see that there is a connection. So I'm really happy for that. So students, today I would like to tell you that about a very interesting thing, that there is a role of a synthetic organic chemist in the development of new vaccines. So when we all know that we have gone through such a difficult time, and COVID-19 is one of the global health crisis, and this is a data around 6 months from the start of this pandemic, and according to WHO, in less than 6 months, COVID-19 spread through almost all the countries. Okay? We all can see that. In the United States, the number was close to number of deaths were close to 1 lakh just within first 6 months. But because of our effort of scientists, researchers, we could easily, immediately understand that social distancing, sanitation, and isolation was playing a major role. During that time, early 2020, from the Userin platform, we published an article where we mentioned that national and international cooperation have helped tremendously in curbing the spread of this virus. And there is a need of a global collaboration to facilitate multi-step randomized clinical trials to explore new and effective diagnostic drugs and vaccine. So we all know that we were watching these numbers where the number is, so you see India was already at number 11 in 6 months, and China was going down because of controlling this spread of virus, because they came to know about this virus early, because they started from there. And now today, if you see that in today's scenario, just I pulled up this data just few in the morning. The total numbers are increasing, but now there are very few new deaths. Only in few countries there are a few deaths reported, but then things are in control. So I think we all should be thankful to the researchers, scientists who have very dedicatedly worked to control this virus. And we have understood something called as a drug repurposing. So because there was a pandemic, and researchers have explored several known drugs which are used for the treatment of arthritis, for HIV, or other several old antivirals, several anti-malarials like chloroquine became one of the very popular drug that time, and India was one of the country who contributed in its production and supplying chloroquine to several countries. So in that way, I think India's contribution during this COVID-19 was extraordinary. Apart from that, researchers did a very tremendous work, and they came up with several targets by which a chemist can develop new drugs. So I wanted to summarize that there are various different kinds of vaccine, like whole inactivated vaccine, live attenuated vaccine. Then there are synthetic peptides which can be used as vaccine antigens. Then there are recombinant subunit vaccines which are conjugate vaccine, where antigen is coupled to a weak antigen. And then there are some viral and bacterial vectors, and then there are DNA vaccines. So in all of these vaccines, if you see the live attenuated vaccines, they introduce a long-lived responses, but there are adverse effects associated with it. Inactivated vaccines, they often induces weaker responses. Just wanted to remind you that like Covaxin by Bharat Biotech is one of the inactivated viral vaccine. Then there are subunit and toxoid and conjugate vaccines, which are little safer, but the multiple doses are required for these vaccines. And and specifically the conjugate vaccines are quite expensive to produce, because as you all know that there will be some conjugation of the strong and a weak antigen. And then there are DNA and recombinant vaccines. So here there is a possibility of anti-vector immunity, which leads to adverse effects. And Covishield was also popular, and then we were a little worried to take Covishield shots or any vaccine shot during those days because of the because that they were introduced into the market very quickly. It can take around 10 to 20 years for the development of vaccine to the proof of concept and to its introduction to the market. But then in COVID-19, development within 5 months, the vaccines were fast tracked into humans. And that's why also we were a little bit worried at the start. So I wanted to highlight that Dr. K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, in 2020, he announced that there are around 30 Indian attempts to make COVID-19 vaccine, and that is quite good. As an Indian, we should be proud about this. There are, for example, inactivated vaccine introduced by Sinovac has alum, which is an adjuvant. And then there are some other vaccine like subunit vaccine, which is by Novavax, also has a matrix M, which is a saponin-based adjuvant. This is used in this vaccine. Apart from that, alum and matrix M, Adavax, and CPG1018. These are the few adjuvants used in the COVID-19 vaccines. So that means there is something called as an adjuvant. And so I wanted to show you that before 1920s, there were vaccines without adjuvant, and then after the introduction of alum, many vaccines were adjuvanted with alum. Okay, so what is so special about this adjuvant, and why the adjuvants are required, and what is vaccination? So overall goal of vaccination is to generate a strong immune response against the antigen, which will provide a long-term protection. You know that the early vaccines, which generally use whole kill organism, they produce severe adverse effects. So if you have taken TT shot, or if you have seen the baby was given a vaccine, there will be fever next day, and then the baby will be quite uncomfortable for 1 or 2 days. So that means there is a need of a new vaccines, and the new vaccines are mostly the modern vaccines. They have ease of production, and then the ease of quality control also. They are safe also. But then they are less immunogenic, and because of that less immunogenicity, there is a need of an adjuvant. So adjuvants are the compounds which help this poorly immunogenic antigen to induce a strong immune response. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here that alum was the only, this is an inorganic, it is a mineral salt, aluminum hydroxide, used as an adjuvant for about 7 decades. But very recently, immune potentiators like tocopherol, oil and water emulsions, then monophospholipid, these were introduced as an adjuvant. So for example, if you see here, some compounds like R7, R837, poly-IC, MDP. These are the new kind of adjuvants introduced in the research, and these are immune potentiators. So what are these immune potentiators? So we should understand what is immune system. So infection of the human body by pathogenic organism triggers the immune system, and the innate immune system is actually the rapid and it halts the infection. As soon as the innate immune system get activated, it gives the signals to the adaptive immune system, and then slowly it gets triggered, and then it clears the infection, also keeps the memory. This is how our immune system works. And then there is a bridge between these two, innate and adaptive systems, and these are the toll-like receptors or pattern recognition receptors. They actually provide the bridge between these. So this pattern recognition receptor, so this discovery was been awarded a Nobel Prize in 2011, and during that time I was working as a postdoc in one of the lab at United States and working on the similar topic for the development of vaccine adjuvant. So, and it was a very excitement that the work which we are doing was awarded a Nobel Prize in the same area. Okay, so toll-like receptors. So I just wanted to introduce today that there's something called as toll-like receptors, which are transmembrane proteins, which actually recognize the molecules from the microbes, and then they give signal to our body that there are some there is some attack, and then they actually provide the appropriate signal to the adaptive immune system. There are about 13 toll-like receptors. There are many. And then there are few are on the membrane, few are in the endolysosomal compartments. And we work on TLR 7, 8 and TLR 2. Also recently we started working on NOT2 also. Okay, so its mechanism is that like some molecules from the pathogen, they actually are recognized by toll-like receptors, and they are activated by the specific recognition of these small molecules and generate immediate defense by producing pro-inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines actually trigger the provide the signals to the adaptive immune system to lead to a cellular and humoral response. So actually, these are like very busy slides, but what I want to tell is that we are going to activate the immune system, and then it becomes important to take care of the autoimmunity and the allergy. Okay, because the overactivation may lead to autoimmunity also. Okay, so overall aim of my research lab is to develop molecules or assemblies which are very much similar to microbe, but not pathogenic like microbes. So like for example, microbes have cell membrane, they have lipids, cytoplasm has several enzymes. Then there are like some like villi and flagella, which are like glycoproteins. Then there are ribosomal assemblies to make proteins. Then there are nucleobases. So these are the out of that some antigens are identified. And our lab's idea is that we should find out a new adjuvants which can mimic these PAMs, these micromolecules, and then develop assemblies which can actually behave like a microbe. But then it will only give a signal to the immune system that, and then so such assemblies can be used as the vaccine adjuvants. So we have several approaches like to develop such novel adjuvants. So in terms of targeting TLR 7, 8. What I just wanted to summarize is that as a chemist, we look at the various different structures and then identify which are the best molecules we identify. So about 5-6 years back, we identified imidazopinolone kind of a molecule, which as one of our lead molecule. And then one of my students synthesized this molecule by a typical synthetic processes. I will not go into much details. So what we did with this molecule, we first this was a 9-step molecule. We have used this molecule in combination with 10,000 G, which is a antigen for malaria. When it was mixed with the malaria antigen and it was a total vaccination was done, we observed that a complete protection was done. Recently this work was published as a case study in the book published by Wiley. So then while observing, we observed that when these immune activators were given alone, we observed that they actually create an immune response in the body. So we wanted to see if we can utilize this as like we use Chyawanprash, and then it creates it boosts the immune system. So what we did, we used our molecules and mixed it with chloroquine and then injected to the animals, and we observed that they actually helped survive these animals for more days than what happens to the infected animals. Similar study was also done in leishmania also, where we observed that these immune activating compounds can be used in malaria as well as leishmania. Okay, so in 2020, this our first paper was published in Human Vaccine Journal, where we have shown that this molecule, our lead molecule, showed very good vaccine adjuvant effect when combined with the hepatitis B antigen. And because of this, we could help the development uh, uh, of adjuvant by Bharat Biotech, and we could little bit help during their development. Okay, so this was actually the molecule which is very close to the molecule which is our lead molecule from our lab. Okay, so my students synthesized the molecules which are highly active at nanomolar concentration, and these molecules were ready in 2020, early 2020, so that we could help in the development of this vaccine adjuvant. So apart from that, we also worked on lipopeptides, which are also targeting TLR2. So our idea is that if you have a surfactant kind molecules, we can make assemblies by these molecules, and they can behave like a structures, nanostructures of a size like, let's say, 100 to 200 nanometer or 50 nanometer, which can resemble bacteria and viruses. So my two students, these girls, they did all 20-step synthesis of this PAM2 CSK4. So again, this was a step-by-step synthetic process where we synthesize PAM2 CSK4, and then we keep on doing SAR. So these molecules actually they induce immune system via TLR2, and then we have shown that they are quite useful molecules, can be used as an adjuvant in vaccines for COVID as well as hepatitis B. We have recently published. We have also made the formulations of these molecules where we have shown that we can make nano assemblies and then deliver these immune activating compounds. Okay, so I think this was like a short story because of a time span. I just wanted to, because there's a mixed audience, I just wanted to tell you that organic chemists can also contribute in the field of vaccine. And these vaccine adjuvants, which are actually the small molecule based synthetic compounds, are very useful as immune potentiator, can be used in cancer immunotherapy as also. So this is actually the Bharat Biotech's vaccine, and this is the company Virovax, which is formed by my supervisor from my postdoc. So because of specific work I have done in his lab, I could help a little bit in its development. Okay, so I'm thankful to all the collaborators who helped my lab in doing immunological studies, microbial studies, and also funding agencies who have provided funds to my lab. I'm thankful to my students. This is a student before COVID, and these are the recent batch. After COVID, we are again rebuilding because there was a gap. So overall, I'm thankful to all of you for patiently listening to this contribution of an organic chemist for the vaccine development. Thank you.
Very much, Deepak, for a nice presentation, and you could teach the not only science people but also, because as I told you that there are mixed audience. So no doubt it becomes very difficult when science to science or commerce people is to discuss their accountancy with the science people. But however, I hope everyone enjoyed your talk, and with these words, I thank you one again on behalf of my committee for spending your time, and thank you very much, Deepak.
Thank you, Satpal.
Yeah. So our next speaker is Dr. Kishore Bhardwaj. So Dr. Kishore Bhardwaj is working as assistant professor at Banaras Hindu University. Dr. Bhardwaj did his early study in BSc and MSc from Banaras Hindu University, and then PhD at Chemical Laboratory with one of the greatest organic synthetic chemists, Professor Ganesh Pandey. Then after his PhD, he joined University of. He has been a DST and 20 assistant professor at Edification. Speaking enlighten all the audience and professional uh, and conditions as well as solvent system. We speak on chemistry and that reaction that is Baswaya Belly Silman. Baswaya has contributed a lot and Baswaya Belly Silman. And since they are his students, so uh, we also tried this particular reaction and it's also the same area. So, start Dr. Bhardwaj for his talk. Over to you, Dr. Bhardwaj.
Thank you, Satpal, for the nice introduction. Am I audible?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Okay, my slides are visible now.
Make it in slide mode. Presentation mode. Yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Satpal, Dr. Satpal, for the nice introduction, although I couldn't hear much of it, but I'm sure it must have been great. Thanks for that. And I'm thankful to the organizer for giving me a chance to present my views and some of the researches which we are doing in this area. Considering it to be the green chemistry, green talk, so I have focused it around that only. And I would take a lot from Professor Basoya talk that he spoke a lot about the good scientists, the great scientists, is they have done work. And from there, I will take a seeding and build up my lecture. Okay. So the title is Chemistry, Green Chemistry, and Berry Cinnamon in Our Environment. So we do chemistry, why it has to be green, and what we are doing in berry cement, how we can associate it with the green chemistry. That all I will talk about. So first slide, our planet, the green planet, it was formed millions of years ago, and it supports complex life system. You see this complex biological system it supports. I will tell you it has been research area that of permutation and combination wise, they have found out that there are 6 to 7 Earth possible in the entire universe where such kind of complex life system can be supported. So we should be very lucky and thankful that we are there on this planet. And this is not a biological presentation, just to tell you our place in this evolution something. Earth was formed millions of years ago, as I told you, and here we came actually. Very last we appeared here, and to show the role of humans here, first Homo sapiens appeared around 2 lakh years ago. State of cognitive revolution started 70,000. Last two are important, and that's what I told you. 12,000 years ago, agricultural revolution was there, and this is what we are actually. 500 years of scientific revolution. Industrial revolution took place in Europe, and then it was never looking back. And that's what I say. I take a lot from Professor Baswaya's slides that he told us about all the great scientists who contributed to what we are today, actually. So this is what has found the genesis, and because of this scientific development, humans are at the summit or peak of everything. We have the maximum production of food. There's less of hunger. Almost everything we have a treatment in today's world. Medically, we are secured, socially, economically, and development has been to a level that we are looking to the other planets. Moon is a history now, and we are looking at other planets where we can go and explore. So this is where we are, and science has contributed a lot to this development. And so chemistry, being a branch of science, has contributed to maximum food, health, personal community, everything, whatever you take. There has been a lot of development, but everything comes with a cost, consequences. This is what our environment was given by God and nature, and this is what we have created, our industrial pollution, air pollution, sewage waste, industrial waste, land pollution, soil pollution, everything has just gone limitless actually, and that's what has spoiled the environment, the delicate balance of our earth. These are the ever-growing problems we have. We have increased medical problems like asthma because of the environment. We have greenhouse effect. We have global warming. We have extinction of species. And so many, you can go on countless. These problems have come, especially because of this 500 years of science. So that's what this picture comes again. I bring forward this picture to you. that what we should do. We should stop here actually. We should go the way God gave us the earth. We should go to the Roman or Greek or something like that so that we can, or at least 100 years back, what we should do. Humans are greedy, we want the modern lifestyle also, but we want a good environment also, so that it doesn't backfire us. Okay, so we want a piece of harmony here, but we still want a great life ahead, all with full of science and everything, technology, so that all the amenities are at arm reach. So what's the question? This is the question what we ask, which scientists have asked, and being a chemist, this question is asked to us actually. So how we can still continue the pace of development and maintain our environment. So this is the bigger question, how to do reaction with zero or minimum disturbance to environment. And fortunately, we have answers and guidelines in the form of green chemistry. We are lucky to have these things. Earlier, we were doing the way we wanted, now it's not possible actually. So these are the guidelines, 12 principles of green chemistry. I won't go into detail. Let me be frank with you. I will just tell you in short, considering the general nature of audience, that what it is. So you should do a reaction in which there is no waste prevention. Treating waste is not so good. Rather, not generating waste is a better option. Atom economy. Let's say you do a reaction on 10 gram of scale of reactant, you should get 10 gram of product in simple sense. There should not. This is called atom economy. Everything on the left hand side gets converted on the right hand side. Less hazardous chemical synthesis, safer chemicals. Solvents play a greater role. Chlorinated solvents like DCM, dichloromethane, chloroform, dimethyl sulfoxide is a, these should be avoided. We should use, in fact, there is a lot of research for water being as a solvent. You should use protic solvent and not, if not possible, try in some better way. Okay. Our procedure should be energy efficient. If something you are doing at 100 degrees centigrade, try doing it at room temperature. If some reaction is taking 7 days time, try doing it in 2 days time. This is how you can minimize the wastage of energy. This is what research should be. Renewable feedstock, don't use petrochemical as far as possible because they get replaced in thousands of years of time. You can get your chemicals from plant mass, plant biomass, animal biomass, so then that is good thing actually. They can be replaced quickly. But something which is coming from petrochemical, it just extinguished quickly. Reduce derivative. Catalysis is another important, that what we will see in our reaction also. Catalysis should, your reaction should be catalytic rather using stoichiometric amount of reagent and all those things. Design for degradation, there should be degradation, real-time pollution, and the last one being very important, safer chemistry. Whatever chemistry you develop, whatever process you develop, it should be safe. You all know Bhopal gas strategy. Everything was good until unless there was an accident in that. So that cost thousands of lives, and we still reel over it. So even if there is a chance of accident, it should not be very costly. Okay, so coming back to this now, Morita-Bellissima reaction, my research area, this is reaction, okay? It couples an Michael acceptor with electrophile to gives you a Bellissima adduct. And then this adduct has found large number of applications. So that's why this reaction is very popular reaction, because this adduct has been genesis seeding template for other chemistry to develop. Because you see, you have a carbonyl group, you have a double bond, you have a hydroxy, you have a allyl group, all in the close proximity, and you can play a lot of chemistry tools with them. So this is why this reaction is popular. Just to show you mechanism, Michael addition is catalytic in nature. Nucleophile adds, generates the enolate, and then it traps the aldehyde in aldol fashion, and then proton transfer and elimination of catalyst gives you adduct. Now, how this reaction? What is the green part of Morita-Bellissima reaction? It is a beautiful reaction. It has a lot of principles of green chemistry embedded in itself. The very first principle, less waste production. You can see nothing is there here. All the reactant gets converted here. There is no waste production. Atom economy reaction, I told you, everything gets, let's say you start 10 gram, 100 gram, you get 10 gram of 100 gram here. So this is an atom economy reaction. Principle third, we don't use any hazardous chemical. All we use is catalytic organic bases or some phosphines. This is what is just required. Principle five, I told you about the solvent. We use safer solvent. Generally, many times the reaction is done in water or protic solvent, and many times it can be done neat also. Without solvent, that is even better. Ninth principle, catalytic in nature. We need a little bit of just catalyst to couple them together. And very safe synthetic procedure, principle 12. You just dump it. You don't need to worry about it. In fact, we are working over the rate acceleration of this reaction. So, sorry, a reaction with lot of green aspects and wonderful great application. Other principles also get followed, but these are the straightforward principles of green chemistry which are embedded in the Bailey-Simon reaction. Coming back to our research, we are working in acrylamide in multi-Bailey-Simon reaction. This is acrylamide for you. And I told you this is the coupling of Michael acceptor. These are the most common activated alkenes used here. Somehow, unfortunately, acrylamide has been missed out of Bailey-Simon literature. The possible reason is low reactivity, which stems from the donation of this lone pair of electron, high school intermediate chemistry, and this Michael acceptor tendency gets reduced. This is very unfortunate and surprising because acrylamide have important synthetic template. They are present in number of bioactive compounds, and very importantly, they have huge applications in polymer chemistry. So this is what our challenge was, and we started working over it. The simple things first, we started first with the intramolecular Bailey-Simon reaction, and you see dashboard butanol, although reflux, but it gives a very nice yield of this cyclized product. Next, we thought of using ketone. I told you Bailey-Simon is sensitive and acrylamide has been on the lower reactive side. Ketones are also similarly on the lower reactive side, and as a result, we took this and we got this in dapple dioxide water, we got this cyclization. Then we thought of double molecular Bailey-Simon reaction, intermolecular and intramolecular. First intermolecular Bailey-Simon was done in this way, and then acylation and amination gave you this acrylamide precursor, and then again DAPCO, the favorite catalyst, acetonitrile water give this alcohol. These are some of the examples. Then we chose upon the Rouse-Fourier reaction. Now, what is Rouse-Fourier reaction? Rouse-Fourier reaction is the vinyl-logos version of Bailey-Simon reaction. I told you 1,2 addition gives you Bailey-Simon reduct. If the same enolate adds in the 1,4 addition vinyl-logos version, it gives you the Rouse-Fourier reduct. And we were the first to report the Rouse-Fourier reaction of acrylamide. It forms this cyclized product, and then there is a double bond migration to give this quinolone paper. Okay. These are some of the examples. So after doing successful a number of intramolecular versions, we thought to increase the challenge a little bit more, and we thought of using intermolecular version, and successfully we covered isatine-derived precursor as electrophile with acrylamide. Phenol was used as an additive, and this reaction was done at room temperature. You see, intermolecular Bailey-Simon reaction at room temperature, and that gave tertiary benzylic alcohol. Then we thought of a concept to increase the reactivity of acrylamide. We thought if we have something at ortho position for hydrogen bond that may activate it for Michael addition, and then subsequently this may also stabilize the enolate. So we thought of three precursor, designed three precursor, one with the one we are thinking of, second one having no facility of hydrogen bond, and the third one the simple one. When we carried out this reaction, our thought process was correct, and this one gave 69% yield in 2 days time, and this one required 10 days to give 64%, and this one didn't give product even after 10 days. So it was working, and then we explored this reaction to a number of precursor, and let me tell you, this was the first time many of these aldehyde found their acrylamide-derived Bailey-Simon reduct. It was the first time they had to wait along to find their partner in the form of acrylamide. It's known with other Michael receptor, not with acrylamide. Okay. This was something we got serendipity, or you can say lucky, that we were not trying Bailey-Simon, to be honest. We were trying some tandem addition or domino addition to get this cyclized product with this electrophilic site. Fortunately, sodium sulfide turned out to be a catalyst for Bailey-Simon. In fact, it gave this Bailey-Simon as a Bailey-Simon adduct, and the most pleasant part was I was telling you about the rate acceleration. This reaction just went in 15 minutes. In fact, this, to the best of my knowledge, this is the fastest intramolecular Bailey-Simon reaction known, that to at room temperature. These were some of the control. These are examples which we made. We got this dihydroquinoline, we oxidized it. Quinoline is a very celebrated skeleton in bioactive compounds. Dr. Deepak just now told you about bioactive compounds. So this is something, a good recipe for bioactivity. And we did some of the control experiments. Considering the general nature of audience, I will not go into details of this. And this is also continued things to prove the mechanism of the reaction. So okay, that comes to the summary. We did a lot of intramolecular belly cement reactions for acetaldehyde, then ketone, and double belly cement. We achieved the first report of acrylamide in Rouse-Fourier reaction, subsequently to intermolecular belly cement, and then the fastest intramolecular belly cement by sodium sulfide catalysis. Still, we have challenges ahead in terms of green chemistry. Let me speak. There has to be reduction in loading of catalyst. To be honest, we are using a higher loading of catalyst, which can be reduced. Temperature has been on higher side for intramolecular belly cement in many cases, so that should be reduced. This is one of the principles of green chemistry. And in fact, it can be taken care if we use phosphine catalysis. That's what we are working presently. Intermolecular Rouse-Fourier reaction we have to achieve, and so obviously the asymmetric version. I am thankful to Banaras Hindu University for providing all the support, DSD and CSIR for the financial support. Students have just joined recently. This was the work I did all as a young scientist in CSIR. And I am thankful to all of you for patiently listening. And once again, I am thankful to the organizers for giving me opportunity to present my views and my research. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kishore, for a wonderful talk. And I'm sure that the problems and challenges which you have shown to us, the synthetic organic committee, definitely I need a solution coming. With this word, I thank you for spending your time.
Professor T.I. Khan for a formal vote of thanks or comments. Namaskar and good afternoon. It's a matter of pride, pleasure, and privilege to be in this session, this important session. Of course, I was supposed to speak, but then I'm just dropping it because of the paucity of the time. And we are actually thankful to Professor Devi sir and Dr. Deepak Saluge, Dr. Kishore Bhardwaj sir for touching upon very important topics. Devi has emphasized on the hard work and what hard work can bring you, where you can reach with the help of the hard work. He has emphasized and he has given number of examples of the people who have done hard work, who have reached to the level of the Nobel Prize. And also at this moment we are facing globally the problems associated with the COVID-19 and how we are going to deal with COVID-19, what efforts have been done. We have directly heard people like Dr. Deepak, who is working upon vaccine, and also Dr. Kishore. He is already, you heard him, and it is a rare opportunity that when there are large number of problems associated with the environment, some people are coming up to solve these problems in the form of the green chemistry. So I would say that you are all, you must have been benefited by their talks, and as I said, there is paucity of the time. So I have to skip and I have to drop. Hope that we'll meet at some other platform and we'll discuss the topic which I have brought to discuss over here. Thank you to Dr. Satpalji and all the, the organizers of the international conference, Dr. Deepak, Dr. Professor Prakasam, and all the, it's difficult to name all the people, but it's not an easy thing to organize an international conference. Takes planning of many days, many months, maybe sometime years, and they have done a lot of hard work to reach to this level. And let me congratulate the entire team, and I'm thankful to the organizers for inviting me. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Khan sir, for your comments.
Thank you, sir.
So once again, thank you, Bhatta sir, Deepak, and Kishore for being with us, connecting with us through online mode. And we look forward to seeing all of you in person very soon. We'll be proud. That's certainly as here and very soon we will be like coming to the very and yes, like 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, I think we can leave, I think. I don't know. Good afternoon, Kishore. Good afternoon, sir. I think
You can disconnect now again.
Sir,
Sir, Krishna, I think you can see want to contact the delegation. So if you want, you can continue with the meeting, no problem.
yes, sir, I think I think we can leave, sir. Sure.
I don't know. I couldn't hear what he said.
Yeah, actually there is, I think he has some phone or something because of which there is an interference whenever he talks, because
now,
otherwise there is,
I couldn't
Kishore,
hear what he said.
yeah, I think our Pal is here. Pal?
hello, can you hear me? Sir,
Ah,
Yes.
little bit.
We can leave.
we will be having validatory session. So if you people want, you can Zoom it. And otherwise, you can. It's over, so we
Okay.
will be immediately.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay, Saitpal, I'm leaving, huh?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye, Kishore. Salunke,
Yes, sir.
I'm leaving.
Okay,
All the
sir.
best. All the best for
Okay,
you.
sir.
Okay,
Thank
leaving.
you. Okay.
All the
Good
best.
day.
Salunke.
Bye.
Bye.
Good evening, everyone. The time has come to draw a curtain to our program. I, Shambhavi Thakur, on behalf of Department of Lifelong Learning, take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to the valedictory function of International Conference on Environmental Edification Everywhere for Everyone. This is an immensely exciting evening for our institute. As we come to the valedictory function, I now take this opportunity to welcome honorable guest. First of all, it is a great honor for me to pronounce that today we are joined by a man who hardly needs an introduction, and fortunately who is also our chief guest, Professor Sher Singh Bhakar sir, Vice Chancellor, ITM University, Gwalior. Dr. Sher Singh Bhakar is Dr. Sher Singh Bhakar is Vice Chancellor, ITM University, Gwalior. ITM University is a premier multidisciplinary university and is the only university in Madhya Pradesh that is NAAC and ICAR accredited. Dr. Bhakar has 28 years of academic and 19 years of defense experience. Dr. Bhakar is a prolific researcher and has published 29 edited books, 89 research papers in referred journals, and more than 75 cases as lead author and 150 cases as case mentor in case center. He has been chief editor of 5 international journals and special issue editor of 5 Scopus listed journals. He has received 8 national and international awards for his outstanding contribution to management education. To name a few, number 1, Asia's most prominent director for education given by Global Excellence 2019. Second, Madhya Pradesh Ratan by Madhya Pradesh Press Club Bhopal through Honorable Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan, then Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh for Excellence in Education Sector 2018. Next, Pride of International Education Excellence Awards by Global Achievers Foundation Awards in 2015 at Kathmandu, Nepal. Next, Bharat Shiksha Ratan Award by Global Achievers Foundation for Excellence in Education Management in 2014, and many more. Now, I would like to invite Professor Sher Singh Bhakar on stage, as well as Professor Prakash Sharma and Dr. Shiva Tumu for welcoming him with shawl, shrifal and a plant. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. The next dignitary to honor us with his presence on the stage is Professor B.K. Punia, former Vice Chancellor, MD University, Rohtak. Professor B.K. Punia, having worked as Vice Chancellor, Dean, Director and Head at various institutions, Sir is currently working as Professor Haryana School of Business, Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar. He has completed 7 UGC or industrial sponsored major and minor research projects and authored 10 books. He has published 145 papers in various national and international journals and edited many books. He has chaired every academic and administrative body of MDU Rohtak and has been member of almost every committee of GJUS and T Hisar. He is in various expert committees of numerous national bodies like UGC, AICTE, Ministry of HRD, DEC, NAAC, Bangalore in different capacities. I would like to invite Professor B.K. Punya sir on stage as well as Dr. Barkha and Dr. Akhil sir for welcoming him with shawl, shriefal and a plant. On behalf of Department of Lifelong Learning, I welcome our next guest, Professor K.S. Thakur, Head and Chairman, former Dean, School of Commerce and Business Studies. Sir is a commerce and management academician with more than 34 years of experience, including 13 years of intensive experience as a professor in Jivazi University. Sir have been associated with UGC and other academic bodies for major research projects, NET workshops, and as an observer in NET, CTET, JEE, MPPSC. Sir have also been member of various selection committees of central and state universities, member of SLET committee of various stages, member of State Service Commission of Higher Education, and also a member and coordinator of NAAC peer team adhering standards of higher education. Sir have 153 research papers published under his name in many national and international journals which are listed in Scopus and UGC care list. Sir have also have a role in publishing 18 books. Now I would like to invite Dr. Satpal sir and Dr. Bharti Chauhan ma'am for welcoming sir, and also I would like to invite sir on stage for welcome. Thank you, sir. Next, we have our guest, eminent speaker, Sir Abhishek Sharma, who is a member of Chartered Accountant Association, and I would like to invite Dr. Bharti Chauhan and Dr. G.S. Kachawa on stage to welcome him, and also Sir Abhishek Sharma. Please. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Next, Professor Angelo Viglianesi Ferraro, and Purva Pradhan ma'am have joined us today through online mode. Sir and ma'am, I would like to welcome you on behalf of Department of Lifelong Learning. Thank you for taking out your precious time and being present with here today. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Satpal Barsara for reporting the session. Please, sir. There has been a slight change. First, we have address from Professor Angelo Viglianesi Ferraro. Sir, please, I will invite you to address the seminar.
Good morning.
Second, sir, I will introduce you first a little bit, a brief introduction, sir. Just 1 second. Professor Dr. Angelo Viglianesi Ferraro is a professor of private law and the Erasmus coordinator at the Department of Law, Economics and Humanities of the Mediterranean University of Reggio Calabria, where he also acts as the head of the Mediterranean International Center for Human Rights Research and the director of a postdoctoral program in new technologies and law and an international LLM. Furthermore, he is an adjunct professor at the Krakow University of Economics, Poland, the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics, Moscow, Parol University in Vadodara, India, and Federal University of Sergipe, Brazil. He has been a speaker at the conference, seminar, or round tables and a guest lecturer in over 100 foreign universities. He is a member of the scientific boards of several international journals and research center and study groups. He is the author of 3 monographies and editor of 20 books. Additionally, he has written numerous peer-reviewed articles on civil liability, consumer law, antitrust law, family law, and fundamental rights. And also, he is the guide of post-doc study of our respected Dr. Akhil Kumar, sir. Now, I would like to request to Professor Angelo for please addressing the seminar.
Good morning. For me, it's a great pleasure and a real honor to be here. I would like to say thank you to Dr. Kumar, Akhil Kumar, who invited me, and to all the authorities present today. I want to underline that I am in Santo Domingo right now. Here it's 5 in the morning, but I accepted to participate because I really respect Dr. Kumar, who is was one of the best doctors of our postdoc program. Yes, I am the director of this postdoc program. Every year we have a lot of candidates, many doctors, and a lot of these doctors are from India. So for me, it's always a great pleasure to participate in conferences, round tables organized by my friends in India. I was in New Delhi some weeks ago, and I'm still grateful to Professor Dr. Kumar and all the other colleagues who really welcomed me like a strong friend. So you all are invited in Italy, and I hope that our collaboration will continue in future. You all are invited to take part in our program, in our postdoc program, which has right now over 80 candidates from 22 countries, and there are some scholarships for Indians. So if you want, you can contact Dr. Kumar, and he will help you to apply for this program, which is very interesting, very important for Indians and for all the doctors. The topic of my speech is about the right to environment as a human right, because this is right now big discussion, not only in Europe, but all over the world about the possibility to include the right to environment, to a sustainable environment among the human rights. We can say immediately that 22 years ago, European Union decided to include this right among the human rights. We have the Charter of Nice, the Charter of Fundamental Rights of European Union, which was enacted 22 years ago. And Article 37 deals with environment protection. And the words are a high level of environment protection and the improvement of the quality of the environment must be integrated into the policies of the Union and ensured in accordance with the principle of sustainable development. So European Union is clear. All the countries of this big organization of European Union must protect environment, must include the environment protection in their policies. And these policies must be created in accordance, so in a way which is consistent with the principle of sustainable development. The question is now faced also within the United Nations. So in the last meetings of the Council of Human Rights, all the countries, all the entities are dealing with this topic. It's important to guarantee a high level of protection of environment. Just some months ago, on the 28th of July, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring that everyone on the planet has a right to a healthy environment. So now the position is clear. This landmark decision was co-sponsored by 117 member states. It is the result of decades of mobilization of various stakeholders. This resolution is based on a similar text adopted in October 2021 by the Human Rights Council. Today is an historic moment, but simply affirming our right to have healthy environment is not enough. Michelle Bachelet underlined this word, this concept. The General Assembly resolution is very clear. States must implement the international commitments and scale up their efforts to realize this goal. We will all suffer much worse effects from environmental crisis if we do not work together to collectively avert them now. A very important sentence, very important position, because we know that now we cannot wait longer. It's not possible to think that the environment problems are problems of the next generations. We always think this. If I throw a plastic away, it's not my problem. Somebody will collect it. If there are pollution problems in the world, it's a problem of the next generations. We don't consider that future is now. Future generations are our sons, our daughters, our children now, today, not in future. So it's important to underline that everybody now in the world should have a right to a not toxic environment. Many doctors, many scholars, many entities are talking about toxic-free areas all over in the world. And the rich countries should help the poor countries to reach this goal. Because the environment problem is not a question of some countries. If 90% of countries respect these rules, this goal, and 10% of countries don't do anything, it's possible that this small percentage, this small area, 10% or even 5% of countries will destroy the rest of the world. So we need a global position. Human rights cannot be guaranteed just in some areas, are the rights of all the humanity. And if there is the violation of these rights in one area, the problem is of the whole humanity, of the whole world. So the questions are connected to the air pollution, as we know, but other big problem are the climate change. We know very well that is an existential threat for people and for the planet. Its harmful effects undermine the full enjoyment and realization of all human rights. Climate change were also discussed during these human rights councils. So there are many resolutions, many compromises. Countries are trying to deal with this problem, but still is a big problem, which must be faced now, not in future. And another problem is connected to biodiversity. The Human Rights Council recognized as well the right to clean, healthy, and sustainable environment, saying that crucial among these questions is the need for a solution connected to biodiversity crisis that is threatening human well-being. So human rights must be connected also to this global biodiversity framework. Who are the environment human rights defenders? The states, of course, stakeholders, entities, but also every human person. Children, we should start a strong education on this topic in the school, in my opinion. It's important to teach students that they must change their behavior. Sometimes children can teach adults how to work, because maybe that adults have an old mentality. For them, it's not a problem to throw plastic away in the streets. But if we start to educate children, to teach children to have a new attitude, a new behavior, maybe they could help the old generations to become more responsible. So just to conclude, in my opinion, today we can really consider the right to environment as a human right. Human rights should be protected all over in the world. Human rights mean that in the education is important to include this topic. I want to underline that, as we know, there is now a Human Rights Day on the 10th of December. In my opinion, during this day, at least during this day, all over the world, we should try to organize conferences, roundtables, seminars to spread this concept. And events, occasions like this, we organize this very important conference, very prestigious conference. All these occasions are really, really important in order to improve the situation, in order to reach this goal, which again is a goal, is an important problem today, not in future. So congratulations for your event. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I hope that this conference can produce fruitful effects. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your deep knowledge with us. Your session was full of enthusiasm and knowledge. We are highly thankful to you. Next, we have Purva Pradhan ma'am. Ma'am has successfully completed her PhD degree at the University of Sydney's School of Psychology under the supervision of Professor Louis Sharp, Professor Phyllis Butto, and Dr. Gemma Todd. Her PhD project focused on cancer survivorship issues and in particular aimed to examine the role of cognitive biases in relation to fear of cancer recurrence or progression amongst breast and ovarian cancer survivors. Ma'am is currently working on survivorship issues in head and neck cancer patients as a research officer in the Chris O'Brien Lifehouse Hospital and Sydney, Australia. Ma'am, I would like to invite you to please address the seminar. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this kind introduction, and I'll just like to share my screen. Can I share my screen?
You can share your screen.
Yep. Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. And as per the introduction, I'm Purva, and I have recently completed my PhD thesis in the area of cancer survivorship from University of Sydney. And I'm currently working as a research officer at Chris O'Brien Lifehouse Hospital in Sydney in Head and Neck Cancer Department. And before starting, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizers of this wonderful conference on environmental edification and for providing me with an excellent opportunity to speak on this pressing and important topic. So as my background is from psychology, and I'll be taking a more psychological perspective on environment as a result. And therefore, the focus of my today's talk will primarily be on eco-psychology and environment and human relationships. I'll also touch base on climate change and its impact on mental health. So first, I'll start with the background on eco-psychology and then moving on to clinical eco-psychology, and then further evaluating the impacts of extreme weather events and natural disasters on mental health. And finally, moving on to how to overcome these challenges, and then proposing some future research directions into this emerging field. So eco-psychology is a relatively new and exciting field. The word eco-psychology is made up of two parts, firstly eco and secondly psychology. So in contemporary usage, we might say that prefix eco refers to the relation of living things to their environments. And then the word psychology literally translates into the study of mind. So if we bring these two parts together, we could say that eco-psychology is study of mind in relation to the natural world. And broadly speaking, eco-psychology can be described as the research field dedicated to the study of connection between human-caused changes to and destruction of the natural world and the spiritual and psychological crisis resulting from our increased experience of separation from more than the human world. There are essentially three features that identify eco-psychology, and they are as follows. Firstly, human beings and nature are in intimate and reciprocal relationship, that is, give and take relationship from each other. And recognition of this fact has implications for psychology and psychotherapy. Secondly, our culture has in some sense lost its connection to the natural world, and this has had negative consequences for both humankind and the planet. That is, in the contemporary society, we only take from the environment and then failing to give to the environment. And lastly, it's possible to reconnect with or to the natural world, and doing so has a positive consequences for both humankind and the planet. According to Society for Environmental Populations and Conservation Psychology, the topics of eco-psychology essentially include emotional responses to nature, the impacts of environmental issues such as natural disasters and global climate change, and the transpersonal dimensions of environmental identity and concern. So transpersonal essentially or mainly includes spiritual dimension to the environment. So the question here is why eco-psychology is important topic. Firstly, eco-psychology is an area of study dedicated to an examination of emotional bonds that exist between humans and the natural world. So it enables us to study that sort of bond. Secondly, it seeks to understand the complexity of these bonds and suggests paths to healing the weakened connections embedded in the human-nature relationship. And thirdly, eco-psychology has a potential to bring concepts of ecology into the field of psychology and develop a psychological perspective within the environmental movement. So moving on to environment and clinical eco-psychology, what can we derive from these two concepts? So as we know, humankind is confronted with progressing climate change, pollution, environmental degradation, and destruction of air, soil, water, and ecosystems. The climate and environmental crises are probably one of the greatest challenges in the history of humankind in these days. So it not only poses a serious current and continuing threat to physical health, but it's also an existing growing hazard to mental health of millions of people worldwide. And it's therefore important not to miss the opportunity to apply the expertise of large and influential field of clinical psychology to currently and constantly evolving climate and environmental crises. In fact, the field of clinical psychology is becoming increasingly aware of mental health impacts of the crisis. For example, this increasing awareness was reflected in the organization of the first International Summit on Psychology and Global Health in 2019, which was held in Portugal, and which was attended by the leaders of multiple psychological associations over 40 nations. At this gathering, the leaders declared an agreement to employ psychological research to fight climate change. Now, what do we mean by topic for clinical eco-psychology? So clinical eco-psychology essentially sets out to examine underlying pathways of how the climate and environmental crisis can lead to the development of mental ill health, which entails the study of specific risk and vulnerability factors. Clinical eco-psychology also investigates potential protective and resilience factors that may aid individuals in their adaptation and that may foster the maintenance of mental health in the face of ongoing crisis, and how mental health disorders are linked to ecological adversity can be most optimally treated. So clinical eco-psychology may be most optimally placed between clinical psychology and eco-psychology, as you can see from this diagram. Now, moving on to impact of extreme weather events and natural disasters on mental health. So extreme weather events, for example, floods, and natural disasters, example, wildfires in Australia back in 2019, have been previously linked to a broad range of adverse mental health outcomes. The most commonly reported mental health disorders in the aftermath of extreme weather events and natural disasters are post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, as well as anxiety, suicide, and substance abuse disorders. Given the particular characteristics of these events, such as the suddenness and destructive potential and likelihood of severe sequelae, for example, injury or death, it is unsurprising that such ecological stressors can trigger the development of stress-related mental health disorders. So the question comes on, What can be done to overcome mental health challenges in the context of this pressing environmental concern? So firstly, given the positive impact of natural stimuli, contact with nature and natural elements should be integrated whenever possible into psychotherapeutic work on topics of clinical ecopsychology. For instance, research on a form of nature therapy called Shinin Yoku, and this study was conducted in Japan, in which individuals spent time in the forest, which has shown in reductions in mental fatigue through decreased prefrontal cortex activity, reduced cortisol concentrations, and increased feelings of comfort and calm. The deep-rooted psychophysiological connections to nature may help individuals to consciously resonate to the natural environment and to respond positively to its restorative influence. Similarly, another research evidence reports a very similar outcome. That is, in a study of 20,000 people in a team in the European Centre for Environment and Human Health at the University of Exeter in UK, they found that people who spent at least 2 hours a week in green spaces or local parks or any other natural environments, either all at once or spaced over several visits, were substantially more likely to report a good health and psychological well-being than those who didn't. 2 hours was a hard boundary. The study was published in last June, and it showed that there were no benefits for the people who didn't meet that 2-hour of threshold. And studies have furthermore have also shown that the effects of nature may go deeper than providing a sense of well-being, helping to reduce crime and aggression in turn. So a 2015 study of 2,000 people in UK found that more exposure to nature translated into more community cohesion and substantially lower crime rates. Still, many of these studies are correlational rather than causational, which is the major limitation of these studies. This means that it's hard to show that natural landscapes cause these effects, though these things happen when people are in a natural environment, but still these findings are very promising, highlighting the importance of our environment in terms of mental health crisis. Now, future directions in this emerging field of ecopsychology. Firstly, much of these research studies conducted within this field lack information on trajectories and long-term effects, which prohibit the establishment of causal connections that I was previously talking about. Secondly, it should also be taken into consideration that assessment of adverse mental health effects in post-disaster population is often affected by sample biases. For example, those who are most marginalized, for example, Aboriginal populations in Australia, or that is most affected by disaster-related stressors, and those with the highest psychopathological burden are less likely to participate in these research studies, which bears the potential for underestimation of mental health effects. And lastly, mental health disorders are also stigmatized in many cultures, which can impact the disclosure and assessment of such outcomes. And finally, conclusion. Climate change is not only one of this century's major challenges, but is probably one of the most important challenges in the history of humankind. Given the dependence of humans on a healthy environment, the mitigation of climate change and protection of natural environment must become a topmost priority in future researches. A change towards responsible management and protection of natural world and a more sustainable lifestyle may ultimately foster better mental health. Given the urgency of current situation, it's of crucial importance that future research examines this neglected relationship in light of identified processes and pathways, including the consideration of potential vulnerability and protective factors. Hence, there's an urgent call for an increased investigations into this topic by clinical psychologists within the context of this rapidly growing research area of clinical ecopsychology. And thank you so much again for providing me with this excellent opportunity to speak in front of well-known dignitaries. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable knowledge. I hope your address would have paved way to understand the meaning and importance of eco-psychology in our day-to-day lives. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite respected Professor B.K. Punya, sir. Please come on stage and guide us for your wisdom on this topic. Please, sir.
Thank you. At the very outset, I'd like to convey my heartfelt thanks and gratitude for the organizers, Prakash ji and his team, in particular, and University of Rajasthan in Jaipur, University of Rajasthan Jaipur in general. I'm also grateful to my friend Thakur Sahab and Thakur Sahab, Sharma ji, and all other on the dais and off the dais. मैं ये बात कहूंगा कि इस प्रोग्राम का वैल्यूटरी फंक्शन ऑर्गेनाइज करके प्रकाश जी ने काफी हिम्मत का काम किया है। अक्सर ये देखा गया है 30-32 साल के करियर में कि जाते बारात का स्वागत और इंटरनेशनल और नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के दोनों का होता है। जैसे जाते बारात को कोई स्वागत मजबूरी में सुनते हैं। एनीवे कोशिश करेंगे कि अब तक जो सुना उसको थोड़ा समराइज कर दें। आपने एक बात सुनी होगी, झांक रहे हैं इधर उधर सब, झांक रहे हैं इधर उधर सब, अपने अंदर झांके कौन। और उपदेश कुशल बोलते रहे, इसको आज विचारे कौन। एनवायरमेंट, 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 इधर उधर झांक रहे हैं सभी, कभी अपने अंदर भी झांक के देखा है। वी टॉक ऑफ एनवायरमेंट, कभी सेल्फ के एनवायरमेंट के बारे में भी देखा, सोचा है। मन में ईर्ष्या, द्वेष, जलन सब कुछ भरा पड़ा है, बात करते हैं एनवायरमेंट की। अरे मन चंगा तो कटौती में लगेगा। जब तक मन ठीक नहीं होगा तुम कैसे करेंगे एनवायरमेंट ठीक हो जाएगा। पहले खुद का एनवायरमेंट तो ठीक हो। एनवायरमेंट पे स्टडी आपने सुने हैं और 2 दिन से आप एनवायरमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं। When we talk of environment from a business perspective, तो 2 तरह का एनवायरमेंट होता है, एक इंटरनल और एक एक्सटर्नल। बट वी हार्डली थिंक ऑफ आवर इंटरनल एनवायरमेंट, उसकी तरफ कभी ध्यान ही नहीं देते हैं। तो पहले तो मेरी प्रार्थना आपसे ये है कि अपना जो इंटरनल एनवायरमेंट है उसको भी जरूर सोचें, देखें। There are established studies. There is a direct connection in between external environment and the internal environment. एक कहावत है, जैसा खाओगे अन्न वैसा हो जाएगा मन। जैसे हवा में सांस लोगे उसी तरह के विचार। हवा पॉल्यूटेड है तो विचार नहीं, फिर विकार है। अस्थमा, stress, anxiety, these are related with our internal environment. तो हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि हमें अपने इंटरनल एनवायरनमेंट को जरूर ध्यान में रखें, तभी हम एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में सोच सकते हैं। और इसको हम कैसे ध्यान में रख सकते हैं, कैसे इसके बारे में ध्यान रखें। मैं
एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं सेल्फ के बारे में बोलूंगा कि हम अपने बारे में तो खुद तो शुरुआत अपने से होनी चाहिए। चैरिटी बिगिंस एट होम। और इस बारे में कहावत भी है कि अनवांटेड रेवड़ी फिर अपनों को दे। जब अपना ही ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे तो फिर हम बाहर का एनवायरनमेंट का क्या ध्यान रखेंगे? इसके लिए पहला स्टेप, यदि हमें इसमें सफल होना है, दैट इज इनक्विजिटिवनेस। यानी क्यों जरूरत पड़ेगी हमें एनवायरनमेंट को ठीक करने की जरूरत क्यों पड़ी, इसके बारे में विचार करें। जब इसके बारे में विचार हो जाएगा तो फिर हमें पेशेंस रखने की जरूरत है। और तीसरा, इस फील्ड में लीडरशिप डेवलप करें। अब मैं तीनों के बारे में थोड़ा बता देता हूं। इनक्विजिटिवनेस, एनवायरनमेंट इंटरनल ठीक करना है। कैसे करें? Try to have company of the people who are good by nature and those who are appreciative of you, those who motivate you and those who encourage you. यदि आप नेगेटिव लोगों के साथ रहेंगे तो विचार भी उसी तरह के हो जाएंगे। तो ये आपके अपने हाथ में है। हमेशा जब भी आप कोई काम करें, ऑलवेज टेक नोट ऑफ योर डिफेंस सिस्टम। हमारे जो पूर्वज थे हमारे बारे में कुछ ना कुछ छोड़ के जाते थे कि ये जमीन छोड़ दो, इनके लिए पैसा छोड़ दो। हमने अपने बारे में हमने उसमें क्या छोड़ रखा है? जो हमारा सिस्टम है इंटरनल, वही हमारा सबसे सच्चा साथी है। शरीर हमारा है, ये हमारा इंटरनल एनवायरनमेंट है। और इसके बारे में मैं आपको एक चीज बता देता हूं, ये हमारा जो शरीर है, ये वो चीज है जैसे शाम का चिराग होता है। मैं चिरागे शाम हूं, जुल्मत में मैं चिरागे शाम हूं, जुल्मत में भी रास्ता दिखाऊंगा। मुझे संभाल के रखना, वक्त बेवक्त मैं ही काम आऊंगा। तो अपने शरीर को सबसे पहले, यदि ये ठीक है तो आपकी आधी समस्या खत्म हो गई है। रिसर्च में कहते हैं ना, ए वेल डिफाइंड प्रॉब्लम इज हाफ ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम इज डन। दूसरा, इसमें आपको करना है, दूसरा क्या बताया था? इनक्विजिटिवनेस, दूसरा पेशेंस। ओ यार, आज तो मैं 4 किलोमीटर चल लिया, मुझे चलने की जरूरत नहीं है। रहो। यू नीड रेगुलरिटी, पंक्चुअलिटी। एक बार 2 आदमियों का मुकाबला हो गया, एक थोड़ा सा कम ढंग करता था, एक ज्यादा करता था। मंदिर में आना जाना हो गया दोनों। एक मंदिर में पूजा करके जाता था, दूसरा मंदिर में दिया बुझाने जाता था। एक सीधे काम के लिए, एक उल्टे काम के लिए। 3-4 दिन अच्छी बारिश हुई, जो दिया जलाने जाता था सोचा यार कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन जो दिया बुझाने जाता था वो जरूर जाता था। दिया जलता नहीं था, पहले दिया जलना फिर बुझाना। और जब प्रसाद लेने की बात आई तो प्रसाद किसको मिला? दिया बुझाने वाले को, क्योंकि उसकी पंक्चुअलिटी और रेगुलरिटी का भगवान भी कायल था। उसका कमिटमेंट बहुत जरूरी है। इसीलिए हमारा भी खुद के साथ और अपने संस्थान के साथ और अपने देश के साथ कमिटमेंट होना बहुत जरूरी है। अब मुझे मेरे मुंह में डाल दिया कमिटमेंट। मैं कमिटमेंट के बारे में बता देता हूँ, कैसा कमिटमेंट होना चाहिए। एक जंगल में आग लग जाती है, भयंकर, एक बड़ा सा पेड़ था, बहुत सारे पक्षी उस पर चहचहा रहे, लेकिन उड़ नहीं रहे। जंगल में आग लगी हुई है लेकिन वो पेड़ से ना उड़े। तो एक हमारे भाकर साहब जैसे कोई हृदय आदमी वहां से गुजरे, उन्होंने कहा आग लगी इस पेड़ में, आग लगी इस पेड़ में, इसके जलने लगे हैं पात, तुम अपनी जान बचाओ रे परिंदो, जब पंख तुम्हारे पास। अब पक्षियों का जो जवाब था वो उनका कमिटमेंट शो करता था। फल खाए इस पेड़ के फल खाए इस पेड़ के, इसके गंदे किए हैं पाप, अब तो इच्छा है यही मरेंगे इसके साथ। तो वो कमिटमेंट हम सब में होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज लाइफ कुछ नहीं है। किसने पूछा कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द लाइफ? कैन एनीवन टेल मीनिंग ऑफ लाइफ? कोई बता सकते हैं क्या मीनिंग ऑफ लाइफ? कोई भी बता दे। यस, लाइफ हैज नो मीनिंग, रादर इट इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू क्रिएट ए मीनिंग। इस लाइफ के प्रति हम लाइफ से कुछ ना कुछ मीनिंग क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। अब थोड़ा सा सीक्वेंस में चेंज हुआ था, उसका रीजन था कि मुझे 350 किलोमीटर बाय रोड ट्रेवल करना है और जाना जरूरी है, तो इसलिए मैंने थोड़ी सी गुस्ताखी की और जरूरत से के हिसाब से मैं कम भी बोल रहा हूं। आई कैन स्पीक फॉर आवर्स, उसमें कोई बात ही नहीं है, लेकिन आपसे इतना जरूर कहूंगा कि हमेशा एक चीज का जरूर ध्यान रखना कि जब भी आप किसी काम में हाथ डाल लें उसमें पछताना मत। कोई ऐसा काम मत करो जिसमें बाद में पछताना पड़े। लोगों की तो आदत है, फर्स्ट पीपल विल लाफ एट यू, देन दे विल वर्क विद यू एंड देन दे विल एडमायर यू। यदि मधुमक्खी के छत्ते का कोई शहद चुरा ले, शहद ही तो चुराया है, उसकी जो कला है मधुमक्खी की वो तो नहीं छीन के ले गया ना कोई, तो दोबारा बन लेगी। तो मैं अपनी वाणी को थोड़ा विराम दूंगा सर, क्योंकि इट इज ऑलमोस्ट 4 o'clock, तो सभी से माफी भी चाहूंगा मैं। इतने अच्छे माहौल में दिल तो बहुत कर रहा था कि बोलता रहूं, लेकिन मेरी मजबूरी है। कभी मौका मिले फिर घंटों घंटों सारा दिन भी आपके साथ बिता सकते हैं। आपसे 1-2 सवाल पूछूंगा जाने से पहले। आज 6 तारीख है, 6 दिसंबर है ना। आज के दिन की क्या विशेषता है? यस, एक तो ये इस प्रोग्राम का वैलिडिटी आज, उसमें आप सबसे मुलाकात हुई, ये अपने आप में बड़ा दिन हो गया। नहीं, सेंट निकोलस का भी है कुछ, वो तो एक। दूसरा इसलिए कि आज बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर जी की पुण्यतिथि भी है, निर्वाण दिवस है उनका। एक और भी रीजन है। अच्छा पहले आप ये बताइए, आप में से कोई यहाँ पे ऐसा तो नहीं जो हस्बैंड वाइफ हो, कपल हो? उनको पकड़ के लाओ फिर, पहले उनको पकड़ के लाओ पहले। नहीं, एक्चुअली यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ राजस्थान से मेरा दिली लगाव है और 2008 से है। मैं पहली बार यहाँ पे 2008 में आया था और उसके बाद तो मेरा लगा ही रहता है। बल्कि कई बार मेरी वाइफ कहते हैं कि लगता है आप अपना दिल्ली छोड़ा है राजस्थान में। जल्दी बुला भाई, आप भी ड्रे ड्रे घूम रहे हैं। देखो ये शादी के ये नुकसान है, साइड इफेक्ट्स ऑफ शादी। तो अच्छी बात है, ये उनका कमिटमेंट है। इसके बाद ये जब आ जाएंगे ना, मुझे एक एक्शन लेना है इनके खिलाफ, मैं आपको पहले बता दूं। और सर एज ए फॉर्मर वाइस चांसलर, मैं बाकर साहब आपको बता देता हूं, दिस एक्शन आई विल बी टेकिंग इन माई कैपेसिटी एंड द पावर्स वेस्टेड इन मी, इट मे नॉट बी टेकन एज ए प्रेसिडेंट। फिर भी आप में से कोई है हस्बैंड वाइफ इकट्ठे हो तो अभी बता दो, बिकॉज आई वांट टू जस्ट नोट माई डिफेंस सिस्टम। कोई नहीं है? जी, इसलिए सेमिनार कराया है। बुलाओ फटाफट, जल्दी बुलाओ फटाफट। हाँ, क्योंकि लाइफ में मैं तो खड़ा रहूंगा भाई, भी बता दिया। देखो ये मेरा भी कमिटमेंट है फिर। अगर एक बार ठान लिया तो ठान लिया। लाइफ में ना आपको इतने मौके मिलेंगे किसी ना किसी का उपकार करने के लिए। कभी जीवन में उपकार करने का मौका मिले तो मौका मत छोड़ना, और किसी का उधार मत अपने पास रखना। एक बार किसने एक बोट थी किसी के घर में, उसको बुलाया कि भैया मेरी बोट को आप रिपेयर कर दो, पेंट कर दो, काफी पुराना हो गया, गंदा हो गया इसका बोट। ठीक है जी, पेंटर था। When the person came to his home from office, उसने पूछा अपनी वाइफ से बच्चे कहाँ हैं, कि बच्चे। उस आदमी के होशो हवास गुम हो गए। कहता अच्छा, वो समुद्र की तरफ भागा और उसने देखा कि दोनों बच्चे बोटिंग करके हंसते खेलते अपने घर पे आ रहे थे। घर पे आया, सुख का सांस लिया। देन ही कॉल्ड द पर्सन पेंटर, जो पेंटर थे उसको बुलाया। कहता आज आप जो मेरे से, कहते साहब मैंने अपनी मजदूरी ले ली है। कि नहीं, मजदूरी ले ली, आप जो मांगना चाहे। और उसका मैं कारण बताता हूँ कि हॉल इन दी बोट, नहीं। इसके बाद बच्चे समुद्र में चले गए। उस छेद में भी पानी भर जाता तो मेरे दोनों बच्चे मर जाते हैं, और आपने बगैर कहे मेरे को वो उसको रिपेयर कर दिया हॉल को। आई एम इंडीड ग्रेटफुल टू यू। उसने कहा कि साहब ये छोटे मोटे छेद जीवन में आते रहते हैं, इनको हम भरते रहते हैं। तो आपके जीवन में भी छोटे मोटे छेद आएंगे। लोग क्रिटिसाइज भी करने के लिए मिलेंगे, प्रेज भी करने के लिए मिलेंगे। आपको वो छेद भी भरना है और आगे भी बढ़ना है। और सवेरे शाम की प्रेयर करना मैं तो अक्सर करता हूं ये, बिकॉज वी आर इन द प्रोफेशन ऑफ टीचिंग, और हमारे लिए तो मां सरस्वती सब कुछ है। उन्हीं की वजह से हम बोलते हैं कि जिंदगी दी है तो जीने का हुनर भी देना। जिंदगी दी है तो जीने का हुनर भी देना। पांव बक्से हैं तो तोहफे के सफर भी देना। गुफ्तगू तूने सिखाई, गुफ्तगू तूने सिखाई, क्योंकि मैं गूंगा था, अब बोलूंगा तो बातों में असर भी देना। तो जब भी आप बोले बातों में असर आए, वो तभी आएगा जब आपको खुद के ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस है। इन शब्दों के साथ पुनः आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, दिल की गहराइयों से आभार। वक्त ने चाहा फिर मुलाकात होगी, यहाँ नहीं तो कहीं और सही। अब प्रकाश जी, मैं अपनी तरफ से जय हिंद बोल देता हूँ, वो तो आए नहीं। ना बुला उसको हस्बैंड को। आज उनकी एनिवर्सरी है एक्चुअली, और मुझे भी हिंदी के बाद पता चला, तो कोई बात नहीं, हम अपनी तरफ से भी उनको फेलिसिटेट करते हैं। उनके सुखद अखिल तो आ रहा होगा ना? मेरे घर से फोन आने शुरू हो गए, चले क्या? मुझे खुशी इस बात की है कि आकर ये प्रोलिफिक राइटर एंड एक्सट्रीमली एक्सलेंट ऑरेटर, तो इनके बाद मेरे बाद आपको इनको सुनने का मौका मिलेगा, बट आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू विटनेस हिज ऑरेटरी स्किल्स। सर मैं माफी चाहूंगा, और हम मिलते ही रहेंगे। ठाकुर साहब आप भी जी। अखिल आप इधर आओ भाई एक बार बेटे प्यार कर देते हैं आज आपको हो रहा है बर्थडे मेरे तरफ से और फिर इसको इकट्ठे उठ दो भाई इकट्ठे उठ चारों के ग्रुप में ये में लेके हाँ ठीक है सोच दो भाई सर
सर याद दिलाने के लिए कि भारी वातावरण के साथ अंदर के मन को भी साफ रखना और बुरे विचारों से दूर रखना जरूरी होता है। धन्यवाद सर। नेक्स्ट I would like to invite Abhishek Sharma sir, our respected eminent speaker, to please come on stage and bless us with his guidance and knowledge. Please sir.
Audible now? So I think that we already heard 3 of the speaker for the session, and this valedictory session should really be valedictory only, and there are not that much of speeches. Shivito, I will just summarize myself being speaking here. Myself, C. Dr. Abhishek Sharma, and I completed my PhD in forensic accounting and auditing, and I'm being privileged to be among a part of as a speaker here. I'm thankful to Dr. Professor Prakash Sharma ji for giving a wonderful opportunity to me and to be here in this program. I'm also thankful to other co-speaker, Mr. Angelo, Ms. Purva Pradhan. I also welcome Professor Bhakar sir here, B.K. Punia sir, A.S. Thakur ji, Barkha Rani ma'am, Akhil ji, Satpal ji, and other eminent faculties and coordinator for this program, and patient learners also and listeners also. First of all, I congratulate this conference organizer for organizing this wonderful seminar. Kindly puts your hands together for organizer of this wonderful conference, and I being the Vice President of Federation of Rajasthan Trade and Industry and serve as the Chairman of Institute Chartered Accountant of India. I understand that how much energy, manpower and resources we require to organize one conference and program. So it's really a great achievement for all of you people. Here the topic of the conference is environmental edification, I understand, right? Environmental edification. It's nothing about more than this continuous improvement in environmental education. But this is really a good topic for nowadays, particularly when we understand that amongst very few of us just want to take care about the environment, and rest of us do not bother us. Like we use the papers and we use the papers like anything. And we don't bother that if we want to use 16 reams of a paper, then we need to cut down a 10-foot long tree, 10 to 15 feet long tree. That's how the role of environment plays in each and everything which is related to our life. One 15-foot long tree need to be cut down for a 16 reams of paper. That is how the consumption of environment is all about. So I just belongs to accounting background, being a chartered accountant. So just want to say a few things about the environmental accounting. Friends, financial accounting, we all understand it is like about the balance sheet of finance, how much we earn, how much we spend, what are our assets, what are our liabilities, that's it. But when we talk about environmental accounting, it's something different. It's talk about the consumption of the environmental resources in terms of the money, in terms of the quantity. If we quantify that, then we can say that yes, we are doing environmental accounting. And this is why this environmental accounting is required, as I told you, by giving a small example that when we use a paper, then how many trees have to be cut for it. That is a small example for a environmental accounting. Now again, the consumption of natural resources can be again of 2 types. Renewable energy, renewable natural resources, and non-renewable. So friends, if the natural resources is renewable, then it's okay, no harm. like ethanol, hydropower, wind energy. These all are the renewable natural resources. There is no issue at all. If we spend it, then we can regenerate it once again. But when we talk about non-renewable natural resources like coal, right? Like this petroleum products, it's very difficult to get back. Why we say that natural resources are limited in terms of coal? As you must have undergone to some news a few months or maybe weeks later, this time is very danger for this power failure. The reason means no availability of the coal for generation of the power plants. So coal is one of the non-renewable natural resources, but we do not account for it is in two terms that how much quantity of coal is required for burning for this energy. So if we take care of this and if we take in the quantitative manner, it is called as environmental accounting, right? Environmental accounting may be of national, it could be of global, it could be of corporate as well, right? So we need to take care about it, about the environmental accounting. And friend, could you believe that in last 6 months, you might have heard about biggest donation for the climate changes. Biggest donation for the climate changes. And many of the biggest believers of this earth have donated a huge amount to save the climate changes, to undergo for the major researches for the climate changes. And why the people are doing it? They don't want to reinvest their money to get more and more money. Is it so? No, friend, we understand the gravity of the rapidly changes which are going to the environment and going in relation to the climate. So they know what will be the future conclusiveness for these. That's why they are donating more and more amount to make understand the climate changes and to undergo the rapid study and research for the climate changes. So what I want to conclude with here, as far as environmental accounting and research and understanding of environmental education is concerned, that we need, as the former speaker, Dr. Punia, rightly said, we need to change ourselves first before making any speech for the environmental education, environmental changes. If we change ourselves, then definitely I'm for sure the world is going to change, because any changes have to start from your own, and you don't need any perception from any someone outside. You know perception? I just give you a small example of perception. Perception is just to talk about your thinking about others. How you perceive the things, how you perceive the conditions, how you perceive the people. आपको स्मॉल एग्जांपल देता हूँ फ्रेंड. एक बार एक आदमी एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक शॉप पे गया और जाके शॉपकीपर को बोलता है कि भैया फ्रीज कितने का मिलेगा. तो शॉपकीपर बोलता है कि आप पागल हो जाओ. फिर बाद में आदमी वापस ड्रेस चेंज करके गया और बिल्कुल ऐसा कोई उसको आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सके, ड्रेस चेंज करके फिर जाके पूछता है भैया फ्रीज कितने का मिलेगा. वो बोलता है आप फिर आ गए, फिर वापस फिर वो बिल्कुल चेंज फॉर्म में आता है. फिर पूछता है भैया, बोलता है ऐसे नहीं मानोगे आप, नहीं जाने वाले हो. तो बोलते हैं भैया मतलब सब कुछ ठीक है, उनको कुछ नहीं चाहिए. स्टाइल में आप मुझे पहचानो कैसे कि मैं वही आदमी हूँ. तो बोलते हैं भैया फ्रीज मिलेगा. दैट इज नॉट परसेप्शन. हाउ यू परसीव द थिंग. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हमको जो चीज जैसे दिखती है ना, वो चीज वैसी नहीं होती है. हम सोचते हैं कि वो चीज वैसी. दैट इज परसेप्शन. Perception may be wrong. So I just want to correlate this perception with the environment. So if you think that person is doing wrong, the person that channel is doing wrong, वो पानी में रोड भी फैला है, वो रोड पे कुछ छुट्टी करने का वो भी तो पानी तो करेंगे, क्या प्रॉब्लम करने वाली. Don't bother about people. Don't bother about yourself कि हमें क्या करना है. And believe me, friends, I have a small child of 10 years old. One day I just used to throw some garbage from a car to the road only. He said, Papa, just stop the car and just go and pick that up and just put it in the dustbin. That's how our younger generation is treating us. It is not environmental protection, what we call in a true sense, in a passive sense, basically. So we need to make up a change with ourselves about this environmental, and we have to speak for hours for environmental accounting and for different things, but there are a lot of the speakers who have to speak after me. Chief guest of the program, Professor Bakar, and Professor Prakash Sharma sir also have to speak. So I just want to end myself by giving the last 2 minutes. You need to understand something about the environmental education, or rather teach you something about the environmental education. Just remember two lines, friends. वो खुद ही भाग लेते हैं आसमां की बुलंदी, वो खुद ही भाग लेते हैं आसमां की बुलंदी कि तामील नहीं दी जाती परिंदों को उड़ने की. You are the better teacher for yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your influential message and reminding us that in nature's bank, currency is not in the form of money, it is in the form of lives. And if we want to bring any change into the world, then first we should bring change into ourselves. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Satpal Barsara for reporting the session.
Very much. So I will not be taking much time. The reason behind is that from last 2 days we have seen that the auditorium, the hall was almost every time occupied.
So what I'm going to talk is what you people have already gone through from last 2 days. So basically I'm here for report the last 2 days proceedings of this international conference. Shall we very brief? So the first technical session was chaired by Dr. Edification, and there were 3 speakers, namely Dorji, Dr. Huja, and Dr. Rajesh Vyas. So Dr. Dorji shared his experience on his previous research on traditional economy of Bhutan, which is completely dependent on landscape. He discussed the role of human interaction with nature and environment in traditional economy. Dr. Huja spoke on what management and insists India ancestor looks at resources and environment and their management. And the third talk delivered by Dr. Rajesh Vyas. Dr. Vyas discussed Rajasthan's folk culture and environment protection, and he quoted that Rajasthan has been an eventful state. The folk culture of Rajasthan does not only protect them, while it also protects other animals and plants. And there was something presentation from research scholars and faculty members. And in this session, Dr. Priyanka, who else is there? Dr. Priyanka presented her work. Then there was a talk by Dr. A.K. Sinha. Dr. A.K. Sinha discussed the water. That what is the basis of all forms on Earth. He explained that due to geological disturbance, river caused strength centuries ago, and this was also a kind of climate change in these times. Coming to the technical session, second, and the strategy session, second was chaired by Dr. Arthur, and in this session, spoke and she concentrated on the idea of using young people for environmental protection. She recalled how the business society has its continuing relation with about 363 males and females for killing of the coastal plants. Followed by Dr. Arti Teller from Nepal University about the impact of the industrial environment. Coming to the session which was chaired by Professor S. Thakur. And in this session, Professor Kaniya, Professor R.B. Sharma delivered the keynote address, and scholars Rakesh Kumar, Garima Renu have presented their work regarding how to save environment from degradation. And the fourth final scientific technical session was chaired by Professor P.I. Khan. And in this session, we had 1 plenary talk and 2 invited talks. And the first plenary talk was delivered by Professor David Basavi of University of Hyderabad. And he just motivated the scholars and young faculty members by teaching us the philosophy of ultimate success, how to achieve ultimate success in scientific life. The second talk was delivered by Dr. Deepak Salunkhe from Punjab University, and he described the role of synthetic organic chemists in the development of new vaccine. The last talk was delivered by Dr. Kishore from Manchester University, and he emphasized on the role of sustainable and green methods in the development of novel methods for drug molecule, and also how to develop green and sustainable method traditional chemistry. And finally, the chairman will summarize the session and to the speakers. So this is all about this first session and not about the final round, that is very direction we are present here. With this, viewers, thank you very much for your time listening.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, as the saying goes, always save best for the last. At last, I would like to invite our respected chief guest, sir, Professor Sher Singh Bhakar, to please come on the stage and address the seminar. Please, sir.
Good evening, everyone. On the outset, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Professor Prakash Sharma, the patron for this conference, and his team, which organized this conference, for inviting me to be part of this conference. The relationship of Professor Sharma with me goes long back, about 15, 20 years. We've been in touch with each other. So thank you, Professor Prakash Sharma, for inviting me in this very important conference. I would also like to thank the speakers who spoke in this session. Professor B.K. Punya, C. Abhishek Sharma, and before me in the session. So that has made my life very easy. I don't have to speak at all, because everything about environment has already been spoken. Still, since I got a chance to stand in front of you, and I, being a teacher, can't leave this chance, so I'll be trying to make things shorter as soon as I will finish my discourse as soon as possible. Now, after listening to Professor B.K. Sharma's very interesting discourse, it's very, very difficult to draw attention of the participants here. And it has been a long day, and in fact, the second day in consecutive second day. I'm really surprised to see the attendance in the valedictory session. Yeah, it is Professor Prakash Sharma's instructions, or any, I don't know what is the reason. Generally, what is seen is that by the time the valedictory session completes, there are about 7-8 people, organizing team and the speaker. And they keep looking at the speaker when they're going to finish so that we can wrap up. So that is what generally is the scene, but this is harmful, even in the valedictory session, and I should congratulate every one of you for being so patient listeners. Now, environment at all, because of the number of sessions that have already been conducted. Yes, but the being on this theme, I would also concentrate myself on environment. Get the topic today, environmental
edification everywhere for everyone. If you look at the topic, and a number of speakers also talked about it, that it is everyone's responsibility to be environmental friendly. And to do that, you need to know what actually degrades environment, how the environment gets degraded, and how it affects everyone's life. And therefore, this conference is absolutely important to ensure that we all are more informed about what degrades environment. How can we ensure that it remains not only for us, we probably some of us have lived our life, major part of it, but what about the next generation? What are we going to leave for them? Are we going to leave them a very, very positive environment, which actually would result into the onset of number of pandemics, epidemics that we've seen recently? And this sounds very future, but that is what we've been doing. This year's report on EPI, that is Environmental Performance Indicators report, and this report has been prepared by based on the research carried out by University of Louisville and University of Columbia, both US universities. And this report has put India at 180th place. You know how many countries were evaluated? 180. And we have placed at 180th, bottom of the list. That means we're not doing enough to protect the environment or to environment. We're not doing enough. And that is the reason why we are placed at the rock bottom. The number of provisions that were there to protect environment, some of them have already gone and some are on the verge of going now. And that's one reason why India has been placed at the bottom, but there are a number of other reasons. India has not been performing very well on environmental protection front. Though we keep claiming that we are working vigorously on alternative energy resources, that is energy from sun, solar power, wind power, and so on. And we claim that by 2030 we will have more than 25 gigawatts of power generated through these alternative sources of energy. In fact, whatever we have promised, 2025 in fact, and whatever we have promised, generally we are on course. But is that enough? That we are on course because by 2022 we have already generated 21 gigawatts of power through alternative energy. But that makes it, that shows that we are on course, but are we moving fast enough to ensure that we will be able to sustain the environment that is there? Recently, what is happening in our cities, we have one of the 10 most polluted, the 10 most polluted cities in the world are in India. And even China, which used to have, which used to share equally with us, has moved out of place for top 10. Majority of the cities are moved out of the top 10. And our cities actually make up those top 10. So it's very important for us to understand this, that we need to also move fast on environmental protection. Only government can't do it. Everyone has to be informed. Everyone has to know what actions taken by individuals also pollute environment, be it farmers who actually burn parali, be it everyone else who pollute water by throwing things in the reservoir of waters or put things in the earth that actually pollute the earth. Every one of us are equally responsible along with the government, and who is going to ensure that the government actually does what it is supposed to do? Naturally, all of us can, if we combine together, put pressure on government to make things, environmental friendly in long run, if not in a very short run. The situation is going to be even, worse if you look at the perspective.
By 2050, 50% of greenhouse gases would be released by 4 countries, and India is part of that group. 4 countries include China, Russia, India, and US. 50% of greenhouse gases would be released by these 4 countries, and 32 dozen countries, that is 24 countries in the world, would release 80% of the greenhouse gases by 2050. And we are supposed to be stabilizing. In fact, the number of international commitments by these governments have indicated that by 2050, all the countries would try and ensure that the environment stabilizes. That means the greenhouse gases that are generated, they will become environment neutral by 2050. So I think all the countries are not doing enough. In fact, the countries that actually are in top 10 today in the list that you've seen, that is Scandinavian countries, 6-7 of them, and other 4 are also from Europe. That means all the countries that actually form this group today have actually polluted the environment more than the countries that are doing today. But then they've done recently to ensure that they are in the top 10 of the countries that have to find the way on environmental protection. If you look at and why
is it so? It is actually directly related to the kind of research that is done on environmental protection. If I talk about research on environmental sciences, India stands 11th in environmental research, whereas it stands 3rd or 4th in IT-based research, IT and computing, in engineering, and technology. On these 3, we stand 3, 4, 3. That means 3rd, 4th in these. Whereas on environmental protection, we are 11th. So we're not doing enough research on environment, and that could be one of the reasons why we don't do that well, because we are not aware of what can be done and how can we protect the 3 part of the environment, water, earth, and air. But it is encouraging to note that the CLCR, the rate at which the research is growing on environment is 13.43%, which is one of the highest in the world after 3.91, which is one of the highest at par with China, but which is one of the highest otherwise. So you find that though research has not been very high till now, but a lot of research is going on that, and I see that at the end of the tunnel there is a light. We will know the methods of protecting environment, and specifically when you look at environmental science, means we'll find methods to ensure that whatever we can, whatever we can do to restore environment into its in healthy state, can be understood better, and we can work on it. If you look at the other areas of research, also India, Dow has been doing recently well. We've been growing at on an average of, if you look at all sectors, we've been growing at a healthy rate of about 8% CAGR, which is quite high. Whereas the countries in the world which have been producing maximum research, USA and other countries are growing at the rate of 3.5%. But China, which is producing about 38% of the research overall, and is growing at same rate as us. So that means it is going to overtake all the other countries, even US. Why am I talking about this? Because this is a group of people who are keen to carry out research and carry out research on environment. And therefore, it is important that we all put our might and learn more about the processes, about things that can actually restore the health of the environment. And if it cannot be restored to a good state, at least we ensure that it does not get polluted anymore, and it stays at least as good as it is today. Now, that itself is not very good, but at least we can do that. We ensure that it doesn't get degraded anymore. We all know that the air we breathe is not good enough for us to breathe, and we should anticipate that if we continue degrading the environment, the air that our kids or their kids of kids, the air that they are going to breathe will not be suitable for breathing at all. So with that, I know this sounds very negative, but conferences such as this would definitely produce or prepare people to carry out more research and more action-based research, the research that can be converted into action. And I'm sure if that happens, we probably will be able to move faster than what we've done in recent years. I don't want to talk more because we've already, so many people have talked on the topic, and what I have talked must have been a repetition of the talks that others have made, and that's the advantage and disadvantage being last person. Either don't talk about the topic or repeat what others have said. So with that, congratulations once again to the organizing team of this conference, a very vibrant team who has been able to gather so many people for an international conference. Generally, you find that such international conferences today are not able to draw too many people. Unless there are a number of journals that are tied up for publishing the research, and even then, majority of people would like to present online and not offline. Seeing so many people presenting their papers offline is really heartwarming. So with that, congratulations, Professor Sharma and team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such an eye-opening message. For a country who claims to worship nature, we are certainly very behind in participating our part in protecting it. Now, as we come to the close of our valedictory ceremony, I invite Dr. Akhil Kumar to propose the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
रिका, 2 दिन से आप हमें कॉन्फ्रेंस के टाइम से टाइम हमें हेल्प कर रही हैं। इस इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के आयोजन में सर्वप्रथम मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा कुलपति राजस्थान विश्वविद्यालय को, जिन्होंने 2 महीने पहले हमें इसके आयोजन की अनुमति दी थी। उसके पश्चात मेरा धन्यवाद है हमारे सेंटर के डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर प्रकाश शर्मा जी को, जिन्होंने रात दिन रात को 11:30 12 बजे पे मेल हमारे पास सुरक्षित है। जब सर का कोई चीज ध्यान में आ जाती थी तो हमें आप मेल करके डायरेक्ट कर देते कि ये काम बाकी रहेगा, ये मेल भेजना बाकी रहेगा। और देर रात फॉरेन से सर मेल प्राप्त होता था, इटली, ब्राजील या फिर ऑस्ट्रेलिया से, तो उसके लिए आप हमें अवगत कराते रहे। आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जो आपने इसको मूर्त रूप में लाने के लिए प्रयास किए और हमें समय से आप डायरेक्ट करते रहे। इसके पश्चात मेरा धन्यवाद है मेरे बड़े भाई सतपाल सिंह बरसरा जी को, जिन्होंने अपने व्यस्ततम समय में से कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए समय निकाला। और जब भी समय नहीं निकल पाया तो हमेशा आप हमें व्हाट्सएप या ऑनलाइन किसी भी माध्यम से अवगत कराते रहे कि मेरी तरफ से ये तैयारियां पूरी हो चुकी हैं। मेरा धन्यवाद है सेक्रेटरी डॉक्टर दीपिका और डॉक्टर घनश्याम जी को, जिन्होंने इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को मूर्त रूप में लाने के लिए संपूर्ण प्रयास किए। मेरा धन्यवाद है भारती चौहान जी को, जो इस वैलिडिटी सेशन के लिए ऑर्गेनाइजर थे, जिन्होंने संपूर्ण सेशन को संभाला। और वैलिडिटी सेशंस के हमारे स्पीकर्स प्रोफेसर भाकर सर, प्रोफेसर पूनिया सर, प्रोफेसर ठाकुर सर को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ, जिन्होंने हमारे शॉर्ट इन्विटेशन में आना स्वीकार किया और हमें इस छोटे से आतिथ्य पे हमारे साथ है। मैं देखिए सुन गहराइयों से आपका धन्यवाद देता हूँ। मेरा धन्यवाद इसी कारण में मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ और जो नंदसा जी को, कंचन जी को, जो रजिस्ट्रेशन से लेकर सर्टिफिकेट तक संपूर्ण कार्यों में हमारे साथ रहे। मेरा धन्यवाद है शिवा प्रसाद टमू जी को, जिन्होंने अपने स्कॉलर्स से इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में एक नया आयाम दिया। आज तक हमने ऑनलाइन और पोस्टर प्रेजेंटेशन देखे थे, लेकिन उन्होंने यानी नाटक के माध्यम से अपना प्रेजेंटेशन करवाया है, वाकई काबिल तारीफ है। और मैं विश्वास दिलाता हूँ कि हमारे आगे वाली कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम ऑरल और पोस्टर के साथ साथ प्रेजेंटेशन के एक विधान नाटक के रूप में भी रखेंगे। मेरा धन्यवाद मानव सिंह जी को, जिन्होंने दिन चेक करते हुए वो 107 सर्विस किए थे, जो आज हमारी वेबसाइट पे उपलब्ध है। और इन 7 आवश्यक को चेक करना, मेल करना, उन्हें कंफर्म करना छोटा काम नहीं था। आप गवर्नर हाउस से लेके माननीय मंत्री, माननीय कुलपति, कुलाधिपति और हमारे रजिस्ट्रार से लेकर जितने भी लोगों को आपने मैसेज कलेक्ट किए, उन सबके लिए मैं हार्दिक गहराइयों से धन्यवाद देता हूँ। नरेंद्र जाकर जी IIT दिल्ली में बिजी थे, उसके बावजूद उन्होंने कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए अपने जिनका कार्य जो भी कार्यक्रम उनको दिया गया उनके लिए उन्होंने उसको पूर्ण किया। मेरा धन्यवाद है दीपा मोदी जी को, रामदयाल चौधरी जी को, जिन्होंने खाने का पूरा संभाल रखा। मैं इस कार्यक्रम में गीता समाज जी के योगदान को भूल नहीं सकता। आपने स्पीकर तय करने में, पेपर प्रेजेंट करवाने में और सारा वर्क जो था उसको सहज के रखा आपने। मेरा धन्यवाद मंजू जी को, मेरा धन्यवाद पंकज जी और ऋतिका जी को, जिन्होंने इस कार्यक्रम को साकार करने में अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई। और मेरा दानिश का इसमें योगदान है, उसको मैं कभी नहीं भूल सकता। इसके साथ साथ राकेश जी, जो विश्व के 7 देशों के साथ हमें लगातार जोड़ के रखे हुए थे, लाइव प्रसारण में उनका योगदान है, उसको बुला नहीं के रूप में विनोद जी अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका कैमरे के माध्यम से अदा कर रहे थे। हमारे सेंटर के उनकी पूरी टीम जिन्होंने इस कार्यक्रम को साकार करने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई। और अब कंचन जी के नेतृत्व में सर्टिफिकेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए जाएंगे, लेकिन उसमें अपने लोगों ने 2 दिन से हमारा सहयोग किया है, सहयोग बना रखे। पीछे की गेट से प्लीज वो अपना सर्टिफिकेट करेक्ट करें। सारे सर्टिफिकेट ऑटोमेटिक लगे हुए हैं, सेशन उसके बाद में दिखाने के लिए 10 मिनट सारे सर्टिफिकेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। सर्टिफिकेट पीछे से लेकर निकलते हैं। दिसंबर में पीछे के गेट से केवल एक प्रतिभागी निकले, उसके 1 by 1 आइए सर।
लास्ट में मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि इसने अखिल ने सबको धन्यवाद दे दिया, लेकिन मैं इसको सबसे ज्यादा धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ कि इसने जो सोच और जो काम किया है, तो मुझे ये अपेक्षा में ऐसा भी है कि भविष्य में इसी तरह से सकारात्मक सोच और मेहनत के साथ आगे काम करते रहेंगे, डीडीएल में सहयोग करते रहेंगे। धन्यवाद वंस अगेन अखिल एंड हिज टीम। थैंक यू।